Cats. I'm Scott Russell. Hamilton went to the Grey Cup last year. This year they have the most potent offense in the Canadian Football League. 273 points on the board already. But today, defense is key to the Cats. That's because the Argos have Daryl Mitchell back in the lineup. It's an ever-changing offense with veteran quarterback Jimmy Kemp at the controls. With more on the Labor Day Classic, let's go upstairs and join Mark Lee and Chris Walby. Fellas?
Thanks, Scott, and welcome back to another season of the CFL on CBC. Our traditional setting, the big Steel City backdrop Bluto, and the Argos and Ticats getting set to play perhaps the toughest game on the football calendar.
And listen, these guys do not like each other. They just as soon get some sledgehammers, meet in one of the back lanes in Hamilton, and beat the crap out of each other. But they decided they'll handle it on the football field today.
All right, let's talk about the Argo offense. It has been woeful, the worst in the league this year, scoring just 1 point last week against Montreal. But there is reason for optimism in the Argo camp with the return of slot back Daryl Mitchell. Cut by the Chicago Bears, back in camp this week. This was the scene in his first practice at the Argo Arundel College campsite, and looking right at home, 160 catches, a pro football record last year. He will be a big help for this offense today. And throwing the passes, Jimmy Kemp getting the start at quarterback, taking over from the sophomore, Jay Barker, who could manage just 4 touchdown passes this season, but Kemp has not played football since the first week of August. Now they'll also have Tony Burse in the backfield, the Argos will, and the Cats have been susceptible to the run on defense. They won't have Mike Philbrick in the lineup.
No, they won't have Mike Philbrick, but they're going to have Mike Campbell. And that's the big addition for him right now. I mean, here's a guy, 10-year veteran, didn't even get invited to camp last year. He wants to prove to himself and to everybody out there that he can still play this game at a high level.
He's a former Argo, and he hates the Argos. How about Danny Mack's game last week?
Danny Mack had a season-high game last year, almost throwing for 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's always his ratio. But he rises like cream to the top in the big games. Look for him to have a big one today.
How about your game keys, big guy?
Well, I tell you what, for Toronto, you want to establish the run. Get Tony Burse involved. Take some heat off that offensive line and Jimmy Kemp. On defense, mix it up a little bit. Don't give a steady diet to Danny Mack, or he'll eat you up. For Hamilton, I want them to adjust quickly to the defenses that Toronto throws at them right now. Maybe the 6-pack on defense, forcing the pass. That's the keys, baby.
Those are the keys. The stakes today, who'll take second place and move to within 1 game of first place, Montreal. Back to Scott.
Thanks very much, guys. The Argos and Tiger Cats just part of this Labor Day story. To the west, another bitter rivalry. The Grey Cup champion Stampeders host the Edmonton Eskimos. With more from McMahon, here's Steve Armitage.
We're just a few hours from the start of this 37th Labor Day Classic at McMahon Stadium in Calgary between the Stampeders and the Eskimos. And the question that has yet to be answered is who gets the nod at starting quarterback for the Stampeders. Dave Dickinson, who replaced the NFL-bound Jeff Garcia at the beginning of the year, has missed the past 5 games with a shoulder problem. He looked ready at yesterday's practice and says he's healthy. But so is Mike McCoy, who's won the last 3 at the pivot position. He's the guy who was selling mortgages 3 weeks ago when the Stamps called, and has done a brilliant job at filling in with a quarterback efficiency rating of 103%. For the Eskimos, who've lost 6 in a row of these classics, Nealon Green will start at quarterback. If his sore hamstring holds up, his running could provide a test for the 6-2 Stampeders. Calgary have made one major lineup change for this game. They have added Tony Martino. It was his leadership and punting who helped the Stampeders to a Grey Cup win last season. Scott?
Thanks very much, Steve. It's hot, humid in Hamilton, 24 degrees Celsius. It looks like it might rain, but so far it's clear. The last time these two teams met, it was the Argos. 24-21 in week number 3. We're ready to go here on the Labor Day Classic. Let's go upstairs and join Mark and Chris. Fellas?
All right, Scott, Jim Barker taking over as head coach of the Argos after 20 years as an assistant, has his team at 500 coming into the halfway pole here in Hamilton. Ron Lancaster, the CFL Coach of the Year in '98, taking the Cats to the Grey Cup, a 26-24 heartbreaking loss to Calgary. And we're ready to play football at Ivor Wynne. Osbaldiston has it teed up. Ryan Terry and Pinball Clemens back to receive for the Argos. It'll be Terry at his own 16-yard line, cutting back to the middle, and is hauled down. Mario Smith got an arm on him, and Terry is just shy of the 30-yard line with a 12-yard return.
Well, just a nice job of Hamilton getting downfield to cover team. They know it's big. Get down there, bust the wall, force the play.
Here's a look at the offense with Kemp coming back in at quarterback, starting for the first time since August the 6th when he went out after just 5 plays with a knee injury.
And of course, we talked all week about the big addition of Mitchell back in the lineup right now. The offensive line anchored by Chad Folk hasn't missed a game in his 3 years.
1st and 10 Argonauts. Kemp up over the center. Chad Folk, the strong man in the CFL. Kemp will pass. Quick drop. Goes outside. He's got Kerwan and a completion just shy of the first down.
Nice job of just taking the defensive back a little bit, curling it off to the sideline. Nice pitch and catch. Get in a rhythm early for Kemp. He wants to just get this going. Here's the guys responsible for shutting him down. Floyd and Montford, and the big addition of Campbell in the middle today. Of course, anchored by Calvin Tiggle, who had a 15-game tackle spree well back. And of course, the safety, Rob Hitchcock, a headhunter.
2nd and 2, the give up the middle, and it'll be close as Burse piled into the heart of that Tiger Cat defense. Cats have been susceptible to the run in the last 3 weeks as Barker looks on. And as you mentioned, they'll have Campbell in the lineup, filling in for the injured Mike Philbrook at tackle.
Well, it's really important for them to establish the run. They've got to get the run going, take some of the heat off. We mentioned that earlier. Give Kemp some comfort zone for throwing the football right now.
First starting the season playing arena football in Buffalo. Coming to the Argos to replace Eric Blunt in August. 1st down. Argos across the middle. It's picked off. Gerald Vaughn's got the ball. The only man back is Kemp. He'll be gone. Touchdown, Tiger Cats. And the Ticat defense with the first volley of this Labor Day Classic as Kemp goes to Daryl Mitchell across the middle. He got one hand on it and tipped it right to Vaughn for the pick and the 43-yard interception return.
Well, you wondered how long was going to be before they tried to get to Mitchell, as you say, on the crossing route. One thing that I found very strange about this crossing route was the fact that Daryl Mitchell ran the crossing route tight to the line of scrimmage in front of the linebackers. That's usually a more successful play when you get some depth behind them right now. Put the linebacker in a bad situation, as you say, a tip. Joe Vaughn the other way for 6.
Osbaldison with the point after. And quickly, 2 minutes into this Labor Day Classic, Gerald Vaughn has the Tiger Cats ahead of the Argonauts by a converted touchdown. The interception on a tentative Daryl Mitchell, and Vaughn goes to Pater. Back in Hamilton, Gerald Vaughn with his 3rd interception of the year, returning at 43 yards for the touchdown, and Daryl Mitchell with his head down on the bench. What a way to reintroduce yourself to the CFL.
You know, the biggest thing is you wondered how quickly they were going to try and get Mitchell involved in the offense. One of the things that let him progress, he's only had 3 days of practice. Don't force it to him early, but you got to give him credit. It was in his hands. He didn't catch it. Went out of his hands. He looked a little tentative. Joe Vaughn, Johnny on the spot, picks it up. Romps the other way for 6 points. Big lead early for Hamilton.
That smash route, that crossing route was his bread and butter last year. He killed the Cats in several games with that as pinball. Clemens and Ryan Terry await. Kickoff number 2 from Paul Osbaldison. It bounces to Terry and out of bounds at the 18-yard line with a flag on the play.
Nice job of Ryan Terry anticipating that football might bounce out of bounds. Gives the Toronto Argonauts 1st down at the 45. Great field position to start this drive.
Daryl Mitchell looked really tentative. I thought that ball from Jimmy Kemp was on the money, a little bit in front of him, but he only put one hand out to get it.
Illegal kickoff. Hamilton number 3. 1st down to the 45.
Well, I agree with you, Mike. You know, he just comes across. This is his bread and butter play, but as I said earlier, you know, when he comes across a screen, you're going to see him just come shallow. He's shallow in front of Vaughn. Nice job. The ball is there. It's thrown there. He should catch those footballs.
Argos with their 2nd series. Kemp now calling an audible at the line of scrimmage. Up over the center, Folk. 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line, and a flag on the play. And it looks like time may have elapsed.
Flag on the play.
Well, that's one of the situations that always happens.
It's a procedure call against the Argos.
When you're up there and you're in an audible situation.
Legal procedure. Toronto, number 68. 1st down repeated.
You're changing the play. A lot of times the offensive lineman will try and anticipate the count. That time Steve Salter jumps offside ahead of the snap count, puts him back 5.
And so it'll be 1st and 15. The Argos now scrimmaging from their own 40-yard line. Kemp had 5 plays in that August 6th game against Winnipeg before injuring his right knee. Back to pass. It's complete again to Andre Kerwan at the 50-yard line. Rather than 45, the game will be about 5.
And a nice job. Kerwin just finding the little opening right there in front of Eurocius Parker. Takes it deep, turns back, catches 5, picks up part of that first down yardage right now. Makes it 2nd and 10 right now. Have to stretch the field a little longer if you want to make that work.
Kerwan, the Canadian from Winnipeg, played at Stanford, a friend of Tiger Woods. Had half of his season ruined last year by an injury and has been solid at the wideout for the Argos this year. Kemp now in the shotgun, and there are flags on the play. And it looks like another procedure problem on the Argo line.
Most definitely.
Procedure, Toronto number 58, 2nd down and 2.
Chris Jaskis, the veteran of that offensive line, just jumps ahead of the count again. This is nerves too. Remember, your quick sit-ups, they're just jumping right now. You're eager to get in there. You want to hit somebody. A lot of times you anticipate the count to get a little advantage of the defensive lineman you're going against, and that time Chris jumped offside.
You have to wonder if they're still getting used to the cadence and the timing of Kemp after playing the month of August with Jay Barker at the helm. 2nd down and 15, Argonauts. Kemp with the screen pass. It's burst, rumbling, but he won't get to first down territory. Rob Hitchcock makes the tackle. The gain is only 7. A punting situation for the Argonauts.
Well, I'll tell you what, a screen is a great play to call if you got an all-out blitz. Hamilton only rushed 3 on this play. It's really tough to get the screen to work in that case because the linebackers are all dropping. So what happens? Burst catches the football, but all the linebackers are in perfect position to make the play. You can see Monfort just, hey, Mr. Kemp, how's that knee? Just working on Chris Jaskis. He's just going to give him a little shot to the outside. Release. Throw a screen.
Prefontaine with a high spiraling punt taken by Eurocius Parker at his own 15. Cuts through the middle. Makes a move and is brought down at about the 30-yard line. A 48-yard punt from the best punter in the league, Prefontaine, and a 15-yard return as Danny Mack comes onto the field, coming off the best game of his season last week, 395 yards against Edmonton.
We talked about another person, Ronald Williams, rambled for 126 yards, so they too can run the football. Of course, you got Mike Morreale, Doug Flutie, Darren Flutie's brother had a great game last week. Carl Coulter, Princeton, Dittman, and Hack. Solid offensive line, only giving up 4 sacks all year.
And they'll go on the ground. The give is to Ronald Williams, but he runs into traffic and is maybe getting 2 yards on the run.
Well, Toronto defense is #1 in a lot of defensive categories, and against the run is one of them. And these 4 are mainly responsible. The newcomer, Brechterfield playing end, Young on the other side, Wiltshire, O'Shea, Houston at the linebacking positions, and of course that solid defensive back unit anchored by the Smiths, Donald and Adrian.
The Argos with the best defense in the CFL. The Tiger Cats, the #1 ranked offense. 2nd down and about 8.5. The dump pass to Darren Flutie. He's got some open room and is driven out of bounds just across the first down marker at the 42, and there's a flag on the play.
Well, Mark, they're going to bring this back. It's a holding call on Andrew Gregg. He just tackled the guy.
Flutie, who has been nursing a bad back, looking fine last week with 2 touchdown catches as they sort out this call.
Well, anytime you're trying to get to the outside, the receivers on that side are responsible for getting their helmet on the defensive back in front of them.
Holding, Hamilton #2, 2nd down and 2.
Corey Grant, the rookie wideout, gets the call for holding, and so a promising looking play from McManus to Darren Flutie nullified. It'll be 2nd and 18. The ball back at the Hamilton 22-yard line. Grigg wide right, Flutie wide left. The only receiver to the left side of the field. As the Ticats flood the right side, a high snap, another flag on the play. Lots of time. McManus goes deep, but it hangs and goes out of bounds. No chance for the intended receiver, Andrew Grigg.
And that flag came down quickly, usually an indication of procedure. But they're going to call Toronto offside on that one.
Well, that's a rare high snap from the veteran center, Carl Coulter, in his 10th season.
Offside, Toronto, number 50, second down repeated.
Mike O'Shea called offside. And a break for the Tiger Cats. Danny McManus has been criticized by Ron Lancaster for not throwing the ball deep, and he opens early with a deep pass.
Well,
that hung up.
You know, Mark, you got to throw the ball deep in this league if you're going to open anything underneath, and he's got to do it. Whether it's successful or not, it's always a good play.
Second down and long for the Tiger Cats, just across their own 25. McManus, quick drop. Across the middle looking for Flutie and nearly picked off by Kelly Wiltshire.
Well, he tried to thread the needle in that traffic right there. Kelly Wiltshire, great job anticipation and even more a burst on the football. Gets a hand on that and almost picks it off and goes the other way. Danny McManus very lucky that wasn't intercepted.
Wiltshire, one of the 3 Maple Leafs in that mid defense at linebacker and rush end, along with O'Shea and Glenn Young, and he has made a very good change from the DB position to linebacker last year and now this year for the Argonauts. Lots of speed and aggression. Osbaldiston to punt. Mike Pinball Clemens, the lone Argo back, standing at his own 40. And a squibber from Osbaldiston. It bounces across the 45. Clemens having trouble tracking it down. Finally falls on it just as Cooper Harris piled on, and he might be hurt.
Well, he might have got the wind knocked out of him. We'll have to wait when we come back and see what happens here.
7-0. The Cats in front of the Argos in the first quarter.
Check out our website, all kinds of info about the league and the Canadian football in general. Here's a chance to ask Chris Walby questions. Any query for Chris is fair game. He'll answer as many as he can on a special pregame show October the 2nd, along with his partner Mark Lee here on the CFL on CBC.
I'll tell you, I might have the first question. I want to know, how many plays did you call in that Blue Bomber huddle?
As long as it's not about how much hairspray I go through in a week.
Jimmy Kemp at quarterback for the Argos. They've managed just 1 first down in the game so far, midway through the first quarter. The give, the pitch out to Ryan Terry. He rumbles around the left side and will have a good gain of about 7 yards on the play.
Well, not only does he get some positive yards here, but the Battleship Burst lays a great block on Hagen to open the hole. Just an exceptional block. You're going to see it to the top of your screen. Just a nice pitch. Look at Burst. Come back and lay the helmet on Hagen. Set him down there. Open the hole up. Montford has to come all the way across to wrap him up. Great job by the Battleship.
Hagen's back in the lineup for the Ticats. He was out last week with an injury. Second down and 3. It's Burst right through the middle, up the gut, and a first down across center field for the Argos. An 11-yard gain for Tony Burse, who was playing arena football in Buffalo earlier this year before he got the call from the Argos.
Just a nice job of the offensive line getting off on the ball, putting a hat on a hat. Burse, he's just a north-south runner. He's not going to shake and give you a fake leg and take it back. Great job of running, great job of execution by the offensive line in Toronto.
He's 34 years of age, old for a running back, but tremendously fit. This time it'll be the second man, Ryan Terry, with a big move across center field. A first down. The ball comes loose, but it'll be blown down across the Ticat 35-yard line. And so once again, the Cats are vulnerable to the run.
And we talked about gap control by the defensive line. They have a certain gap. That's great to go in that gap, but don't get washed down. This is just a cutback. He's supposed to go to the left. He cuts it back to the right, forces everybody to adjust their tackling angle. Hitchcock mixes. Had to come up. Chris Schelling had to come and lay a hit on him and put him down.
The running game coming back in the CFL. More big backs like Burse and Terry, both over 200 pounds, running against defenses with a lot of undersized DBs playing at linebacker. And there, the pass to Kerwan is broken up by Gerald Vaughn, who had that shocking interception in the first series.
You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You're getting great yards running the ball. Jim Kemp decides to go a little out pattern here to Kerwin, throws it. Had he made the catch, he would only pick up 1 yard at the most anyway. You got to wonder, stretch him a little bit, help your running game. Go a little deeper on that pattern.
Veteran Vaughn has been all over the secondary for the Ticats this afternoon. A big knockdown there and a big interception for the only points of this game. Kemp across the middle, looks like interference on the play intended for Pinball Clemens, but Vaughn was all over him.
Well, Vaughn tried to climb the back almost like a ladder to get the football. Yes, you both can go to the football, but you can't impede the receiver's ability to catch that football. This time, Gerald Vaughn gets a little over anxious, puts the hands on Pinball. Pinball ends up going down. You can see right there, you can't touch the receiver and impede his progress to the football. Officials Johnny on the spot, throw the flag, first down for Toronto.
Forward pass interference, Hamilton number 39, first down.
And so 2 big runs, and now the pass interference call, moving this Argo drive now deep into Hamilton territory at the Tiger Cat 25-yard line. Vaughn, tabbed for that penalty, has been aggressive to say the least here in the secondary for the Tiger Cats. First and 10. Kemp at quarterback, pitching out to Mike Pinball Clemens, but this time the Cats read that and dropped him at the line of scrimmage.
Well, Joe Mumford was not going to be hooked. He wasn't going to be pulled inside. He stayed outside. He skated with the block, came off, made the play. That's why this guy was the outstanding defensive player last year. It takes a lot to hook him. You can see him coming right here. He's just flying. Look at the speed of this man. Gonzalo Floyd. They are all meeting the back at the same time. That's hustle. That's what you want out of your front four in your defensive unit.
Terrorizing defense. Montford with 12 sacks, leading the CFL coming into this week in a tie with Alfred Payton. Argo drive alive, but a second and long situation now for Kemp in the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. And the play is blown down. Kemp doesn't even make an effort.
He might be glad that one came, because I tell you, Rob Hitchcock was coming on a safety blitz, and he was unabated to the quarterback, so it would have been ugly.
Time count violation, Toronto number 15, second down.
Well, that's the second time Kemp has been in trouble. First time with the time count, he just got the ball off when they had a procedure call in their first or second series. And now he gets a time count violation here. It'll be a 5-yard loss in the play. Second and 15 for the Cats. Now the ball at the 30-yard line, rather, for the Argonauts.
That's just a situation, Mark, where Jimmy sees stuff, Kemp sees some. He wants to audible. As he audibles, of course, you only got 20 seconds to get the play off. He's running out of time.
Penalties already marring this first quarter. Daryl Mitchell has had one pass thrown his way, went off his hand, tipped right into the waiting arms of Gerald Vaughn, who returned it 43 yards for the touchdown. Will they come back to the third-year man, Mitchell, who has torn up the CFL in his first 2 seasons? Second 15, they've got to go deep. Across the middle, it is Mitchell. He's got the ball. Touchdown, Argos. What a recovery.
Nice job of execution by the Toronto offense. Little surprised by Hamilton's defensive scheme. They bring up Sugar. Rob Hitchcock in a safety position. He doesn't get back into his normal deep drop in time. Mitchell goes where he should be, makes the catch. Bam. Watch him. He's going to cut back into the middle of your screen. Rob Hitchcock would normally be here, but he was faking the blitz. As a result, there's no support. Nice catch, and welcome back, Daryl Mitchell.
Daryl Mitchell on a 30-yard pass and run play from Jimmy Kemp, and the Argos are on the board. Dan Giancola with the point after. Mitchell not looking tentative there, reaching out with a DB right in his face to make the catch on the crossing pattern and the touchdown for the Argonauts. It's a hug from Jim Barker, the Argo head coach. Prefontaine with the hold. Giancola with the point after. And with 5:10 to go in the first quarter, the Labor Day Classic at Ivor Wynn is all tied at 7. Daryl Mitchell back in the Argo camp after being cut by the NFL Chicago Bears says it feels like home in Toronto.
When I got the bad news on Sunday, I got a call from the GM here, Eric Tillman, on Monday. So I mean, that was a real good feeling, and it was also a blessing, you know, that I can, you know, be employed one day and then hired the next day. So I mean, I'm real thankful to be right back here with the Argos, you know, with the same fans, and I'm just ready to be part of the team again, you know, just get back into the swing of things.
And is he ever back in the swing of things with a big touchdown catch for the Argos? This is Archie Amerson on the kickoff return, hauled down from behind by a hotly pursuing Mike O'Shea. The return 18 yards as Daryl Mitchell savors his first touchdown of the '99 season.
Well, just a nice thing. I tell you what, right here, when we get on this thing, you're going to see Rob Hitchcock up tight to the line. He should be back. It's cover zero. As he drops back, there's nobody back to give support. Next you know, Daryl Mitchell comes in the opening where Rob Hitchcock normally would be. Touchdown, waltzes into the end zone.
And look who was chasing Daryl Mitchell on the play, Gerald Vaughn, a man who picked off his tip pass and returned it for a touchdown to start the first quarter. So retribution for Mitchell on that 30-yard touchdown run. The pitch out to Ronald Williams with a head of steam around the right side, juking. And first down territory for the Cats on the ground.
Well, let's not let people go to the fridge right now and think the game's over because Mitchell scored a touchdown. Hamilton's got something to say about that, and they're got their own ground game, and Ronald Williams is a tank himself. Nice job of going off right side behind Chris Burns and Dave Hack. Just gets up ahead of steam, and he's another guy, not a flashy guy. North-south runner is going to put his head down, and you know that you're going to get punished trying to tackle this puppy.
The gain is 12 and a first down by Ronald Williams. The Cats now just shy of their own 40. This time it's Williams left side. The pitch out. The Argos were waiting. Demetrius Maxey and Mike O'Shea put the tackle at the 40.
Well, they tried to do the same thing they did the right side by coming to the left. On this play, Ronald Williams just cuts it back, and of course the pursuit of the Toronto Argonauts takes him down.
Another big back in this new cycle towards running in the CFL. Williams, one of those men who has been putting a pounding on those undersized linebackers who were designed to stop the pass in what was once a pass-happy CFL, and now a balance is being restored to the offense. McManus will pass this time out of the shotgun. Waiting, far side. Andrew Grigg has it going up high, but there's a flag on the play, and Maxey says it's coming back.
Well, they got definitely a holding call on the play right now. If I'm not mistaken, it's Brechterfield coming around the corner. This guy's only 5'9", but a bundle of speed.
Holding, Hamilton, number 68. Second down repeated.
Dave Hack gets the holding call. Penalties again, interfering with some decent plays.
Well, you can see him at the top of your screen right now. He's just coming around the corner. Hack has to put his hand inside of him right there. Pull him down, pulls Demetrius Maxey down. Good hard rush by Maxey. Good defensive line effort by the Toronto Argonauts on the whole.
Fair to say, without that hold, Maxey probably would have been in the face of Danny Mack. Second down and long and 20. McManus, short side. Corey Grant has it, gets off his knees. A move at the sideline, but goes back as Donald Smith puts the tackle on him just across the 35-yard line. Well short of the first down, and so the Ticat punt team is coming on the field.
But one of the nice things you got to like about this rookie, Corey Grant, is the fact that he's growing as a receiver. Watch him. He catches a football. Now, a lot of times you're just happy to make the catch as a rookie. This guy's trying to make moves, get more yardage. That is how you grow as a receiver. Make somebody miss you. You got great speed. Tries to give him a little leg, come back inside. Donald Smith has none of that. Lassos him, takes him down. But you got to like a receiver who wants to get more yardage.
Grant was the man who returned that wide field goal versus the Argos for 127 yards and a touchdown, one short of the CFL record. The rookie Canadian out of Laurier. Osbaldiston punting from his own 25, gets a low line drive. Clemens has it. Mike Clemens across the 35 to the 40. He's got open space across center field. Clemens still going. Mike Clemens finally hauled down from behind by Warren Muzica. A 47-yard punt from Osbaldiston and a 54-yard return from Mike Clemens, and the Argos are in terrific field position.
Oh, let's say this guy wants to retire. I don't think so. Pinball Clemens can still do it all. He has not had typical pinball type yardage this year, but I tell you what, he can still get it done.
Microphone attached to Mike Clemens during today's Labor Day Classic, and you can hear he rumbles for a small man, doesn't he?
We got the same heartbeat, though.
Big return for Clemens. The Argos now with their elephant team in. Handoff, Ryan Terry, but the Ticats read that one, and a huge loss on the play.
You're right. A great job by the Hamilton defense to react to the jumbo offense. Adrian Smith comes at a quarterback. He runs the offense. He's taking his thing. You got Demetrius Maxey at fullback. I mean, you got some meat, you got some speed in that one. But a great job of Hagens and everybody getting in. Lamar Griggs stuffing out for a loss.
And guess what? The Argo Elephant team, the jumbo offense, the Argo offense, as they call it in the playbook, is staying in with Adrian Smith, the versatile corner, running the quarterback position here.
And he has thrown the ball twice, and he's 100%, so watch for that also.
It's second and about 14. This time, Smith holds onto it, tries to follow a lead block through a maze of cats who were sniffing that one out again.
You know, Mark, I like inventions. I like new things, but I tell you what, I gotta wonder sometimes, do you get too tricky? It looks like he missed a handoff with Maxey, but Maxey doesn't look like he's ready to accept the ball. So double handoff and follow Maxey for a lead block, but you need 14 yards. You know the guy can throw the ball. He's a heck of an athlete. Stretch it a little bit. They got everybody on the Hamilton side up on the line of scrimmage. If you know you got that, throw the football.
Nowhere to go on that play, and so the Argos will attempt a field goal from the Hamilton 36. Giancola, the grocery clerk turned kicker for the Argos from Thorold, Ontario. 150 family and friends watching him today, and he's good from 36, and the Argos take the lead. 10-3 Argos in the first quarter.
Closed captioning of this program is brought to you by Tim Hortons Iced Cappuccino. It's creamy, it's smooth, it's deep down cool.
Let's go down to Scott Russell.
Right, Mark. Back with Canadian swimming sensation Joanne Millar, 2 gold medals at the Pan American Games, 2 gold medals at the Pan Pac Championships in Sydney. How good has this season been for you?
It's been the best season of my life, and I'm just so glad to be home, and I'm recuperating and getting ready for the biggest year of my life next year.
I know you're a Hamilton native. I know you go back and train in Calgary most of the time. Give us that little story when you go to McMahon Stadium.
It's funny. I've been a Ticats fan my whole life, so when I'm out training in Calgary and living out there, every time the Ticats are in town, I've got a Millar jersey, and I wear it to the games, and I get heckled a lot, but it feels good to be cheering for them out there.
Way to be a Tiger Cat fan. Been great to watch you swim. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot.
There's Joanne Millar. Mark, back to you.
All right, Scott, and golden hopes for her in the pool 1 year from now in Sydney, as she has moved to Calgary in the National Training Center there, and it has really paid off. A terrific Pan-Pacific swim meet for her just after a terrific Pan Am Games in Winnipeg. It is 2nd and 6. Tiger Cats at their own 39-yard line. McManus in the shotgun, looking, will go deep to Flutie. He's open, and he's got it and falls down at the Argo 35.
Nice.
Darren Flutie, wow.
That is just a nice job. Good execution, but it all starts up front. Great protection on the offensive line. Ronald Williams stays in there to help him, gives Danny Mac the time he needs. This is a developing play. Darren Flutie's got to run all the way across the field. See, he's got, we can count Mississippi's back there. Throws it, gets behind, Bonner, behind Adrian Smith. Nice catch.
Okay.
First down, Tiger Cats at the Argo 34. Eric Lapointe in the backfield, and he gets the toss. The Canadian from Mount Allison with a burst of speed, turns the corner, gets by Bonner, and finally driven out of bounds by Byron Capers across the 30-yard line. The Ticats on the march at quarter time, and after 1 quarter, Toronto leads Hamilton by 3 in the Labor Day Classic. Capacity crowd at Ivor Wynn enjoying a terrific Labor Day Classic. The Argos ahead by a field goal here after 1 quarter of play.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been up and down, but you know what? You look at the things right now. Time of possession has been relatively even, 8 minutes to 6 minutes, but up until that big catch by Darren Flutie and the last drive by the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Toronto really owned that first quarter, Mark.
The Argo offense ignited with Kemp starting, and Darryl Mitchell back at the slot back position as we look down the line of scrimmage. 2nd and short, 2nd and about 4. Tiger Cats, McManus with lots of time. He'll go deep to Corey Grant. He can't get to it with close coverage from Adrian Smith.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there was a thing about Danny Mac not going deep, he's stretching the defense today. These corners are going to have to turn their backs today. They're just not going to be able to backpedal and watch the play. They're going to have to turn and run with the receivers. Nice job of trying to go deep to the corner with Corey Grant. Little overthrown. Corey gets a little caught up with Adrian Smith in the cover, but a good job nevertheless.
McManus going after Smith on the corner. He picked him off to start the second half in that 24-21 Ticat win in Toronto. Returned it for a touchdown as Balderson gets set to attempt this field goal from the 35, his longest 52 yards this year. And that is a chip shot for the veteran Tiger Cat place kicker. And how about this guy? I was looking back in his portfolio. Back in '86, he was drafted by BC when Louis Passaglia was in his 10th season as a place kicker there. Played 3 games when Passaglia was injured. Then went to Winnipeg, played 5 games with you in the Bombers before coming here and being Rookie of the Year with the Cats and the Canadian Player of the Game in the Grey Cup.
I'll tell you something, Mark. One of the best things, he had 5 games stint with us in Winnipeg. This guy had no luck at the time. One time, just after a game, the trainer spilled hot coffee on his back, burned him. Next time he gets a concussion in a football game, says, I'm glad that game's over, goes to his locker, his helmet falls off the locker, hits him on the head again, and knocks himself out again. So, I mean, it was like, even if he's in civvies, he was getting killed.
But then after all of that bad luck, he came here to Hamilton, as I mentioned, was the Rookie of the Year for the Tiger Cats and booted a record 6 field goals in the Cats' Grey Cup victory.
Well, the big guy upstairs said the guy's had enough punishment. Let's give him a little reward.
He has kept himself fit. I saw him working on the weights earlier this week at the Ira Stadium gym. And so the Oz, who had that dramatic 54-yard winning field goal kick to win the East Final against Montreal, boots it off to Ryan Terry at his own 7-yard line. Terry cuts to midfield, has some blocks, sheds a couple, still running, and finally dragged down just shy of the 25-yard line. Vaughn making the tackle on special teams. He's been a workmanlike player on this Labor Day for the Cats.
And a nice job of the cover team. You know, the previous punt, pinball burned them for big yardage. This time, the cover team on the kickoff team stayed in their lanes. They didn't get out of their lanes. So when Terry tried to find an opening, there was none. There was always a black shirt there to bring him down.
Don't forget, this is a Labor Day doubleheader coming up right after this at McMahon Stadium. It's the Battle of Alberta, the 2-6 Eskimos against the 6-2 Calgary Stampeders. Chris Cuthbert, Glenn Suter standing by to bring that one to you. First down, Argos. Kemp back to pass, looks deep, looks for Tyrone Brown, but great coverage on the play from Orlando Steinauer, who just gets his arm in front of the young speedster.
And that is an exceptional job by Orlando Steinauer, because Tyrone Brown did the proper thing. Ran the route, put his back to the defensive back, and where he thought he could be the only one. You see, the ball was a little underthrown to the outside. Had he been proper, the ball been thrown a little bit more in front, you can see that Tyrone Brown would have made that catch. Steinauer a little lucky, the fact the ball was thrown to the outside.
Good coverage from the veteran Steinauer. Across the middle, that ball was in the hands of Mike Pinball Clemens, but it looked like he looked upfield just a little too soon. It's incomplete, and a punting situation for the Argonauts as Kemp heads to the bench.
Well, I'll tell you, they just flash him right out of the backfield. Hagen's got to come across the field to cover him. Pinball, normally a sure-handed receiver right now, just fights this football, as you say, looking where he's going to go before he catches the football, drops it, and nobody is harder on himself for dropping a football than Mike Pinball Clemens.
Joe Montfort influencing the quarterback on that play. He has yet to get a sack in this game, but twice has rushed the passer, Jimmy Kemp. 12 sacks coming in, had 21 last year. Prefontaine just gets it away on a quick rush from the Cats. It's Parker at his own 30. Straight up through the hash marks, a flag on the play. Bonner gets there with some help on the play from Verse, who just loves to be downfield making tackles on special teams. A 56-yard punt from the leading punter in the CFL, Noel Prefontaine. Tied at 10 here early in the second. Gray skies over the Steel City, and a terrific 10-10 football game here with 13:24 to go to halftime. The Argos and the Tiger Cats both have the top defenses in the league, 1 and 2, the Argos and the Cats, but the offenses have come to life in this football game.
Well, last time these two teams played, it was a defensive battle. Both teams ended up with less than 200 yards total offense. I think this game is going to be a little different in the fact that right now both teams are really trying to establish the run game, which is definitely opening up the passing game for them.
McManus showing a penchant to throw deep, something he has shied away from, taking the advice of his former quarterback coach Ron Lancaster. Here 3 for 5 so far. The pitch out. Darren Flutie in the backfield as a running back, showing some speed across the 40 and just shy of the first down.
Nice play by Darren Flutie on a play that was designed to go to the outside. The offensive lineman didn't get the defense. You can see they're all slanting to the left. They want to take it to the outside. Nice read. Look at this. This is peripheral vision. Cuts it back against the flow. Turns into a nice gain.
Flutie with his first 2 touchdown receptions of the season last week against Edmonton in that 30-23 overtime thriller. Finally connecting with McManus. The give up the middle, short yardage, 2nd and 1. And Ronald Williams will have the first down across the 45 of the Tiger Cats.
I'll tell you, Mark, if you're an offensive lineman, you gotta love the fact that you got this big hind of beef with legs behind you. This is what you want. You play a little smash mouth. You don't have a little fancy dancer back there. You got a guy that's going to get a nosebleed and love it. You know what I mean? He's going to come across, get the yardage.
Give somebody a headache, I think someone said on the Ticat bench.
There you go.
1st and 10. Ticats at their own 46. McManus back to pass across the middle. It's high, intended for Mike Morielli, and incomplete.
Well, they just Toronto tried a little different scheme. They lined Glenn Young up as a linebacker, but actually he's a down lineman. He ends up coming back on the line of scrimmage. Nice protection. It's only a 4-man rush. Morielli finds the hole. McManus just a little high with the delivery.
Morielli, the outstanding Canadian in the CFL last year. There's another outstanding Canadian, Glenn Young, part of the Maple Leafs. The 3 Canadians, O'Shea, Young, and Wiltshire, who patrol that linebacking zone for the Argos. 2nd and 10, the pass for Griggs. Alligator arms on that play as Houston was bearing down.
Well, yes, it looked like that Andrew Griggs stretched those hands out. The eyes kind of took a peek over his shoulder, and he saw Martavius Houston just bearing down on him, and he kind of pulled the arms back in a little bit. He saw him coming into your screen. He knew he was going to get popped. But Andrew Griggs is a good receiver. He should still catch these footballs. As Tommy Joe says, you touch it, you catch it. That would be Tommy Joe coffee for you, Mo.
Griggs with 4 touchdown catches, the most prolific receiver so far this season for the Ticats. Perhaps intimidated on that play. Osbaldiston to punt. Again, he shanks this one, perhaps bouncing it on purpose because Pinball had trouble last time, but not this one. Clemens looking for a gap, finally squirts through, but is tripped up across the 20, just shy of the 25. Let's go down to Scott.
Thanks very much, Mark. Here's Eric Tillman, the GM of the Argonauts. Changeover time. You've got Darryl Mitchell back. Dwayne Rogers is coming back. So is Nigel Williams. How do you like that changeover time, right?
Well, you know, normally you like to keep your roster intact, but you're talking about 3 guys who are experienced not only with our organization, but with the league as well. So they're big pieces of the puzzle and nice problems to have.
So many changes on the offensive side of the ball for the Argonauts. Why do you like having Jimmy Kemp in there to run the offense now in that situation?
Well, I think we said all along, to get where we want to be, we're going to need both guys, Jay Barker and Jimmy Kemp. The advantage Jimmy has, he's a veteran. He's seen a lot of things. He makes good calls at the line of scrimmage. Jay has a tremendous upside. He's just a young guy, and he's still learning.
Eric, thanks for this, and good luck to the Argos.
You bet. This is fun today, isn't it?
Yeah, you bet. There's Eric Tillman. Mark?
All right, Scott. Tony Burse with a burst of speed up the gut for the Argonauts. Had heavy traffic on that play as Kemp goes to the big man in the backfield.
This is just mano-on-mano football right now. Get a hat on somebody, get pushing, get pushing, get pushing. Defensive line, they got to hold their ground. Nice job of stuffing it, limiting the gain.
Jimmy Kemp, who has been a career backup through 6 seasons in the CFL, taking over from the young man, the Alabama star, Jay Barker, who had trouble last week completing only 9 of his passes in that 20-5 loss to Montreal. He'll need some time to learn to read defenses here in the CFL, but they say he has outstanding potential as a passer and a leader on this Argo team. Kemp waiting, throws into the heart of the Ticat defense, and it's complete for a first down. Tyrone Brown with the catch for the Argos.
Well, that was just a nice catch. I mean, nice throw. Jimmy Kemp right on the money. Mario Smith, Chris Schelling on the coverage. They put him down. Nice job. Look at the offensive lineman working on Montford. He got help in there. Big Tony, Battleship. Keep him out, baby. Keep him out. But you know what? Montford's still going to get there.
Gain is 10 and a first down for the Argos. Brown being compared to Milt Stiegel, a man with 4.3 second speed in the 40-yard dash. And a handoff to Mike Pinball Clemens. Great pursuit from the backside from Joe Montford.
Well, we talked 4.3 speed by Tyrone Brown, but I tell you, Montford does a great job of reading down the line. Now, the defensive line coach might go a little crazy on this because, look, he just flows right behind the line. If the quarterback fakes the handoff and goes on a bootleg and keeps the ball, there is no containment on that side. He's taking a gamble right now, and on that one, it paid off.
Joe Montford can terrorize a quarterback and run down a running back coming across the field from behind, as he did there with Clemens. Second down. It's Mitchell. He can't hold on to it as Chris Schelling puts the hit on him instantly as he made contact with the ball.
Real nice job of Chris Schelling. We talked to Ron Lancaster yesterday. He said this kid is getting better every week, but what he likes about him is he's not afraid to stick his nose in the numbers. Look at that, right on the 8 and the 7. That's how you disrupt the ball, from catching a football. Nice job of Chris Schelling.
Mitchell, who sprained his ankle at the beginning of the preseason in the NFL, only missed 1 day, taking a huge hit there from Chris Schelling, the 4-year man out of Auburn. Prefontaine with a 47-yard punt average, a 41-yard net. The best in the CFL, drives Amerson back to his 12-yard line. Archie Amerson across the 20, runs into his own man, and Mike O'Shea makes the tackle, the lead man on special teams. A 51-yard punt and a 10-yard return. Welcome back to Ivor Wynne Stadium. The Cats and Argos tied at 10, 8:33 to go to halftime in the oldest football rivalry in North America, dating back to their first game in 1873. Last year it was the Cats defeating the Argos 26-7 here at Ivor Wynne, but Toronto has won 8 of the last 10 matchups on Labor Day Monday as McManus gets set to go to work. First and 10 at his own 22-yard line. And a flag on the play, and it looks like it'll be procedure on the Tiger Cats. It is indeed.
A lot of times, Mark, when you have shuffling of the defense by Toronto, Mike O'Shea lining at linebacker, lining up over the other guard, a lot of times you get a lot of communication calls.
Hamilton, number 55, first down repeated.
Chris Burns jumping the gun on that one, but a lot of times you got to make your calls. There's a different call if you get more guys that come up on the line of scrimmage. As a result, sometimes as you're talking, you don't hear the snap count. You got to anticipate the count. A lot of times it leads to jumping off, and you get a procedure.
Mike Morielli coming into the game for Jason Van Giel, the blocking back. The Cats in a passing situation, first and 15. High snap, McManus has it in the shotgun across the middle. He overthrows Darren Flutie, who is open underneath Antonius Bonner.
Well, Darren Flutie was open. Archie Amerson was all alone in the right flats. Andrew Grigg went deep. Adrian Smith picked him up. Nobody picked up Archie Amerson. He was wide open. Toronto just brings everybody on the line. You only got 5 guys blocking here. There you can see Ronald Williams, but right around the corner, they're bringing 1 guy too many, and that's the scheme that Don Matthews implemented. It was very successful, and Coach Jim Barker wants to keep it in as well.
Defenses willing to risk the extra rusher, trying to put the heat on McManus. This time he gets it away to Morielli, who is a clutch receiver in traffic. He has it, but takes a beating.
Well, it's a nice play. He sees it. He goes right back. Same defensive formation by Toronto. Danny Mack sees it. He's not stupid. Throws the same play to Darren Flutie, but give credit to Lundus Bryce, the safety, who's starting his 2nd game at the safety position in place of the injured Clifton Abraham. Does a nice job of limiting the game. You can see the offensive line working there, a little hand in the face mask. That's good for you. That'll wake you up.
Mentioned Bryce, who is a last-minute replacement for Clifton Abraham, who's missed 2 games this year with injuries, as Osbaldiston gets set to punt. Great average going 48 yards. They'll need a big one from him here. From his own 15, big rush from Donald Smith, but Ozzie gets it out and to Pinball at his own 45. Clemens gets across the 50 and is finally dragged down by Warren Muzica. Close to center field, a 40-yard punt from Osbaldiston and a 7-yard return before Muzica put the meat hooks into Pinball.
Well, I tell you what, nice job by Muzica, because I tell you what, Pinball had found that alley, he had found that lane, and he was going for a while. Muzica found the block, made a nice job of stopping it.
Calvin Tiggle, the core of that Tiger Cat defense, having another tremendous season, leading the league in tackles, broke a CFL record with 15 in Week 7 versus BC. Previous mark of 14 held by Bruce Holmes of Ottawa and Jeff Braswell of Toronto. We'll need him to stop the run and stop Burse. This time Terry gets it. And he's swarmed by a host of Ticat tacklers.
Nice job by Mike Campbell. The guy's in the middle right there making the play. Calvin Tiggle coming up, sticking his nose right where it should be on the numbers. You know, he got Burse. We talked about him running the ball. Does a great job of lead blocking. When you got a guy that's 230 pounds, built like a tank, just going to come right into your screen. You can see him. He's coming over there. There's Ryan Terry. Nice job of fighting off the block by Mike Campbell, making the play.
2nd and 8. Argos just shy of center field. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Kemp to Andrew English, breaks a tackle, gets across the 50 and very close to a first down. English, who lost his starting job to Daryl Mitchell.
Here's one of the things that Jimmy Kemp brings you. His smarts, his ability to read. Jay Barker may not have seen that. They bring a lot of guys. They're bringing a blitz. As a result, Andrew English sees it. Jimmy Kemp sees it, cuts it in the middle, a little slant. Off pattern, if you would. Nice pass, nice play, first down.
All right, the Argos are going to gamble. 3rd down and a little more than a yard to go. Ball at the Ticat 50. The crowd now vocally into this one. Kemp barking the signals. Hands off to Burse. Runs into the Ticats. Rob Hitchcock. Lamar McGraves force him back, but what will be his furthest point?
Well, remember, yeah, that's right. It's the point that you go to, and the official on the hand right there on the spot will mark it with his foot, and they'll come in for a measurement, but I believe they do got it.
Sticks will come in, but Hitchcock put a lick on Burse as they met head-to-head just across the line of scrimmage. The Argo offense has been dominating the ball and the clock so far in this first half. And they need this to keep ball control. It is a first down. McGriggs doesn't like the call, neither does Montfort, but it's good, and the Argos will stay on offense.
Remember, Mark, it's your forward progress. It's not where you ended up, it's where you were the last time. And you can see him putting his head down right now. He's up there. Hitchcock brings him back after, but good leg drive by Tony Burse to get that first down.
English with that 7-yard reception to put them into that 3rd and short situation has replaced Daryl Mitchell at slot back for the Argos. First down, Toronto. Kemp back to pass. Time. Far side, there's nobody there. And so some confusion between Jimmy Kemp and Paul Massotti. Massotti breaking in to the hash marks. Kemp reading the outside pass to the sideline.
Well, it might just be a situation of just rust right there. He expects Massotti to be somewhere. Massotti curls it in. Jimmy Kemp expects him to take it to the outside. As you know, last year, that is Paul Massotti's bread and butter when he runs down the sidelines.
Massotti has been underemployed at the receiver position for the Argos. Their leading all-time receiver in his 12th season had 5 catches last week, but had 10 coming into this game for the whole season so far. Kemp flushed by Montfort and sacked! What a huge defensive play on 2nd and 10. The Tiger Cats push the Argos back across center field and into a punt situation.
Joe Montfort gets the sack, but I tell you what, you got to give credit to the defensive backs. They do a great job of covering the receivers. You can just see him. He comes around Pulo Pomeli, right around the corner. But I tell you what, it doesn't matter. He's got time to throw the football. The defensive backs do just an excellent job of swarming the receivers. Don't allow him to get it off. Montfort collects his 13th sack of the season.
He is on pace. CFL record of 26.5 held by James Quick Parker. What a booming punt from Prefontaine over the head of Archie Amerson and into the Ticat end zone as Amerson concedes the single, and the Argos up by 1. Cats Joe Montfort still celebrating his 13th sack of the season, and he is in the hunt for the CFL record, held by this man, James Quick Parker, the prototype rush end. He had 26.5 sacks during an illustrious career. The BC Lions, number 40, so quick off the rush end, big guy.
Well, I tell you what, I had the opportunity to play him a number of years, and he could change direction on a dime, and so can this guy. This guy's just a bigger model of the James Quick Parker.
Montfort projected to get 27 sacks and break Quick Parker's record on the pace he's on right now, but also break the Cat record of 25 held by Grover Covington. Ronald Williams takes the handoff, breaks a couple of tackles, still on his feet, finally drilled. Whoa, what a hit.
Fred Perry laid him down. Fred says, I'm not taking any of that, Ronald Williams.
Ronald Williams, though, breaking 2-3 tackles before finally getting a lick from Perry.
Just a nice job. You can see him coming down. Jermaine Haley misses a tackle at the beginning. 35. He's got him down. Martavius Houston, when he keeps going, he runs right into Fred Perry. And Fred Perry, the rookie out of Southern Arkansas, introduces himself.
Martavius Houston had first contact but couldn't wrap him up. The big back with a gain of about 7. Second down and 3. Ticats across the 40. Again, the give is to Williams, but this time the middle linebacker, Mike O'Shea, steps right into him.
Well, you could give that credit to Brechterfield. And Oki Brechterfield, what he does, he submarines deploy right at the point of attack. Offensive lineman can't get him out of there, can't root him out of there, ends up having to fall over him, creates a hole, allows his teammates to come over and make the play. Nice job of Brechterfield to stymie that play.
Only 5'9", but 245 pounds. There's Perry in pursuit the backside, but this time O'Shea made the read and was there. Has admitted he's made a few too many arm tackles this year that have been broken. Saying the backs are bigger, they run harder than they used to in the CFL. Got to wrap them up. Osbaldiston to punt. A line drive to Pinball. Clemens has it at his own 32. Quick move. Open field for Pinball. Makes another move to the far side. Osbaldiston is the only man back. Corey Grant back there too, but the Aussie makes a great open field tackle to bring down Clemens.
Well, I'll tell you what. Great return by Pinball Clemens. This is a guy who knows how to take advantage of open field. Does a great job, but Ozzie, nice tackle by him. Send your clips over to Bob Cameron on Winnipeg. He can learn from that one.
Mike Clemens having a spectacular day in punt returns. That one 48 to go with one for 58 yards earlier. He's wearing a microphone this afternoon, so let's listen in. Clemens again, the ball carrier for the Argonauts, and a huge run off tackle right for Toronto, a gain of 12 yards and another Toronto first down. 2:25 to go in the half, and the Argos threatening to score.
Tell you, Mark, a lot of inexperience on this Toronto offensive line. You got a lot of guys first year, a couple of starts. They do a nice job opening a hole. Pinball just finds a seam right there by Salter, takes it up, legs churning, forever driving toward that goal line.
First and 10 Argos now on the Hamilton 20. Clemens giving the Cats fits in the return game, and now out of the backfield. The big men are in, Burse and Terry. Terry gets the give, breaks off tackle left, decides not to follow the block of Burse. Short yardage.
Nice job of taking on the block by the outside linebacker Hamilton. They bring it back, force it back in. Montfort misses a tackle, forces it back in again. Nice job of wrapping him up before he could get his feet under him and get some big yards.
The Argos doubling up the rushing game on the Cats so far, with Burse, Ryan Terry, and Mike Pinball Clemens coming out of the backfield. The imposing figure of Joe Montfort looking in on the Hamilton defense. 2nd and 7. Bootleg. Here comes Higgins from behind. Kemp will run. Dropped at the 10-yard line, very close to a first down. Gain of about 7 yards for Jimmy Kemp, not known for his running and playing on a knee that has just come back from injury.
Well, we talked about the fact that if you're a defensive end in this instance, Joe Monfort, you're going to cheat down the line to make the tackle on the running back. The quarterback pulls it on a naked bootleg, which means he keeps the ball and goes to the outside. He does it, gets some yards. Now they're going to measure for a first down.
Kemp very close to the first down marker and taking a beating.
And if you're a teammate of Timmy Kemp's, you see him take a beating like that, that just picks you up. You say, if he's willing to do it, we all are. Let's pick it up a notch.
Right on my 20. And so it'll be third down. Third down in inches. Parker looking on from the Argo bench. For the second time in this game, the Argos will gamble on third down. They got the first one. Kemp, nobody in the backfield. Will sneak. Very close as he barely stood up and leaned over his center, Chad Polk. Well, but it will be a first down.
They're going to give you the first down. If you don't get that first down when you only got 3 or 4 inches to go, you should be ashamed of yourself. Go take a cut and pay. Right now, Jim Kemp just has to lean over the line. That's all he does. He breaks the plane, gets enough for the first down. See a good surge by the offensive lineman right there. Jimmy Kemp trying to go over the pile, but he knows all he's got to do is cross that line.
Kemp, who has played behind the likes of Dave Archer, Danny McManus, Tracy Hand, Reggie Slack, considered one of the smart quarterbacks in the league at reading defenses, has been compared to Dave Dickinson, similar physical stature. The handoff to Burse, rolling off one tackle, gets down to the 5-yard line on the second effort from Tony Burse. And there is a flag down on the field. Referee Glenn Johnson to make the call. The offside against the Tiger Cats. 54 seconds to go in the opening half.
Offside, Hamilton, number 90. First down.
So Gonzalo Floyd is tabbed for being offside. The Argos with a chance to score a major here and open an 8-point lead. Coming up on the half, center Carl Coulter, the 10-year veteran, the journeyman, the man who's paid his dues. We'll hear from him. We'll also bring you some analysis from this exciting first half. First down. The give is to Tony Burse, and he's stacked right up. Calvin Tiggle making first contact at the line of scrimmage.
Just a nice job of Calvin Tiggle knifing in there, making a nice stick. They're going to call procedure on Toronto as well. Move that ball back.
The Argo offensive line has been called a few times in this game so far in the first half for procedure. Barker can't believe it.
Offside, Toronto, number 83. First down repeated.
So it's the receiver, Tyrone Brown, who's called for being offside. It'll be first down repeated. The ball moved back to the 10-yard line.
And those are the ones that will drive the coach crazy when you're not even involved in the actual play. It's a running play and your receiver jumps off. There's no excuse for that.
First and goal, Argos. 51 seconds left in the opening half. They're up by 1, 11-10 on the Tiger Cats. Kemp drops back to pass. Knocked down. Great defensive play from Chris Schelling.
Mark, not only a great play by Chris Schelling, Tyrone Brown, I know he's a youngster. He's got to learn to come back to the football. He sat there, waited for the football as he was going, allowed Chris Schelling to come across and knock that football down. He's got to come back into it. You see him trying to stop the ball, still a little bit behind him. He's trying to come back to the football, allow Schelling to come over, get his hands on it, knock it incomplete.
Second and goal. Brown, wide left. Kemp in the shotgun. Time goes to Brown this time. Touchdown! Brown makes up for the offside with the big touchdown catch, his 4th of the season. And the Argos open their lead with Parker in coverage.
Well, just a one-on-one against Eurasius Parker. Takes him to the corner, makes a move. Nice job, goes high for the football. Nice throw by Kemp, throwing it where only Parker can catch it. As a result, 6 more points. late in the second quarter.
Brown was plucked off the Saskatchewan practice roster before the start of the season and has become a featured member of this pass attack in Toronto. Going up for the ball. Parker draped all over it.
Nice job, man.
Point after now. Giancola. It's good. And the Argonauts open an 18-10 lead on that 10-yard pass and run play from Jimmy Kemp to Tyrone Brown.
Well, aside from Toronto running just a jumbo offense, I mean, pretty basic. Run the football, like we said. Get Tony Burris involved. Pinballs really come through with some clutch punt returns and running the ball. But look at this play. Kemp sits there, throws the ball high. Tyrone Brown goes, leaves his feet, makes a nice grab, catches the football. He's not going to let that one get away from him.
What you have to like about the veteran Jimmy Kemp, he went right back to Tyrone Brown after the penalty. The same thing he did with Darryl Mitchell earlier in the game. When Mitchell tipped that ball, it was picked off by Vaughn, returned for a touchdown. He came back to Mitchell on the 30-yard touchdown pass. Jeff Fairholm, the receivers coach, having a word with Kerwong and Brown on the Argo bench. The Argo scoring drive, 7 plays, just 32 yards. But look at that, eating up 2 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock, and that has been one of the game stories in the first half.
When you control the clock, you're not letting the other team's offense on the field, and that's what's happening. Toronto has really controlled the game so far in this first half. Yes, they've made some breaks and punt returns. Yes, they've done some other things on defense, but offensively, they're getting the job done, and as you say, they're eating the clock, and they're putting points on the board when it counts.
Jeff Fairholm on the right, receivers coach, who had a prolific season in Saskatchewan, winning the Grey Cup in 1989, that big 43-40 win over the Tiger Cats at the Sky Dome, sharing some of his knowledge with Andre Curley. 41 seconds to go in the opening half. Toronto leading Hamilton 18-10. Prefontaine to kick off for the Argonauts. Amerson is back at his own 15. Fakes the reverse. Cuts up over the hash marks, and the first man down is the kicker, Prefontaine, on the 19-yard return.
Well, here's Prefontaine. He's got 4 tackles, special team tackles coming into the game. He puts his helmet on. Amerson this time. You got to love a kicker that not only can kick the ball as far as he can, but not afraid to get a little paint chip on his helmet. Most kickers in this league, they spend half the week polishing their helmet. They have no marks on it. It's like an old 58 vet for them. But Prefontaine, he's got some lineman chips now. You got to like that guy. He might be able to hang with the line.
Taking a few slaps in the back on the Argo bench. Having a tremendous season with a 47.3-yard punting average, his longest, 88 yards. Boomed a 77-yarder for a single point in this first half. McManus at quarterback, 1st and 10 at the Hamilton 35. The pitch out to Eric Lapointe, the 2-time Heck Crichton Trophy winner out of Mount Allison, and he is stopped after a good run, gain of about 8 yards.
Well, all Toronto's going to do is just sit back right now, play a little bit of a prevent with only 30 seconds left in the half right now. And, you know, they'll let the little bit of run get to them right now, but they're not going to get beat deep. That's what they're telling them right now.
Stay on the ground. Lapointe puts his head down, and second effort gets the first down.
Well, we talked earlier about paint chips. That was a great contact right there. Brechterfield, or make that Martavius Houston, meets him in a hole, helmet to helmet. You got to like this Lapointe kid. Keeps the leg going, gets back on the ground, fights for more yards. Look at that. Takes a great hit. Still knows which way to go.
McManus throwing deep. Greg is open. He's got the ball at the 20. Great move across the 10 to the 5 and hold down with 11 seconds to go in the half. Just shy of the goal line.
Never, ever go to sleep. We just talked about Toronto's defense. They're willing to give up a little bit of the run, but they do not want to get burned deep. What happens? Danny Mack, hey, he might want to go deep every time he plays. Throws a great pass. Andrew Grigg makes a nice move. Almost scores, but puts him in great scoring position with 11 seconds left in the half.
Well, he cooked the cornerback, Adrian Smith, on the play for a 56-yard gain, and then a beautiful move from the sideline.
Oh, he's got a little dancing in his background. That's a great move. Trying to push him off. He's even trying to get off there. He smells the end zone.
McManus had been criticized for not going deep this season, but he's come out throwing bombs here in the first half, and that one a beauty to Andrew Grigg for 56 yards. But There are only 11 seconds to go in the half. First down, Cats at the 3-yard line. Time management crucial here. Clock will start on the snap of the ball. McManus up over the center. Carl Coulter fakes the pitch. Some confusion. Throws it to the end zone. And it was intended for Darren Flutie, but well behind him. 7 seconds left in the half.
Tried a little trickery there, a little bootleg action, hoping everybody would suck down and try and get the running back on a fake handoff. A little bit of a play action. Nobody fell for it. Good defense by Toronto. Danny had to throw it away, but he's lucky that didn't get picked off.
Well, they had Eric LaPointe in the game showing run, and then fake run went past. Now they've got Morreale back in for LaPointe. Wide left. Nobody in the backfield except Ronald Williams. McManus will pass. Across the middle, complete, touchdown! Darren Flutie, his 3rd of the season.
Well, who better to go to than Darren Flutie? The magic continues. These two guys, they're joined at the hip off the field. They're joined at the hip on the field. Nice job of reading it. Throws a little behind Darren Flutie. Flutie got the great hands. Pulls it in like the bet he is, the star he is. Touchdown.
What a turn of events. 2 touchdowns in the final minute of play here in the opening half. And the Cats will go for 2 points. Trailing by 2, 18-16. McManus in the shotgun. Everybody right. 5 receivers right. McManus completes the grab. Can he get in the end zone? Makes a move. Yes!
Well, you want to get the people back into the game. I feel sorry for all the guys that have to go to the washroom and thought they were going to get a head start on the beer line. Because I tell you what, they've missed some great action right here. Never, ever leave until the gun goes in the CFL. This is just great. They put everybody, they flood the whole right zone. Beautiful play by Danny Mack. Throws it to Corey Grant. We always talked about his athletic ability. This is just a beautiful play. There's a touchdown to Darren Flutie, reaching behind, snagging that football. Everybody's flooded to the right on a 2-point conversion. Nice job to Corey Grant. Look at this move. I got to shake and bake. I smell the goal line, and he dives in. 2 points. Great play. Great lift for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
And he beats 2 Argo veterans. First, Adrian Smith, then Antonius Bonner with Wiltshire in pursuit. Bryce Rather and Wiltshire, and it's a 2-point conversion, and we're all tied at 18. McManus, what a drive. 61 yards. 3 of 4 in the passing department, and the CFL's leading passer has a hot hand today.
Well, I tell you what, the long bomb has been his forte so far. Obviously, that scoring drive keyed by the big catch by Andrew Grigg, taking it down to the 4-yard line.
So just when the Argos thought they would go into the half with a big lead, Danny Mack comes back. 5 plays, 75 yards in just 37 seconds. That is the allure of the CFL. And there's still 4 seconds left to play. And so Osbaldiston will kick off from his 35. Along the ground, bounces to O'Shea. He has it at the 30. O'Shea will kick it. There's the quick kick. Osbaldiston now running back inside his own 10 to his 5. And he'll take the knee as the clock ticks to 0. And so what an exciting flourish to end the opening half of the Labor Day Classic. A 65-yard boot. But we're not done yet. It looked like Osbaldiston had killed the clock by taking a knee on the field.
Well, you'd think he would. I mean, the quick kick, Ozzy got it, went down. Instead of getting tackled, just took a knee. All he had to be was touched. The referees gather, and they're going to go over this thing and finalize it.
Well, it was a quick kick, which is like a punt. Let's have another look at it as O'Shea took the kickoff, bouncing on the hop. Instead of running it back, hoofed it. Osbaldiston, the punter, the only man back. Time had run out on the end of this play. But he has to be touched in the pro game to conclude the play. Nobody touches him.
Hamilton for re-kick.
Oh my. So the Cats were called for offside on the kickoff.
Well, all that for nothing, I tell you what. So everybody that's at home going through their playbooks going, what is this?
Ron
Put it
Lancaster
away for
can't
another
believe
quarter.
it. Jim Barker anticipating another crack at maybe some kind of wizardry here in the CFL. No time left on the clock. This will be the final play, and they've got Prefontaine, the punter, back deep along with Pinball Clemens.
Well, again, it's the same thing. They're probably going to do the same thing. Hand it off, let him boom it into the end zone, maybe get a roll, recover, get a single point out of the play.
All right, final play of the first half. Osbaldiston this time changes up with a high punt. Comes down to Burse. He'll just hang on and is hammered by Cooper Harris at about the 44-yard line. So that'll be it after a thrilling first half. It's all tied at 18. Darren Flutie with his third touchdown catch of the season, pulling the Argos to within 2, and then Corey Grant with the 2-point convert. And there's nothing to choose between the Cats and the Argos at the half of the Labor Day Classic from Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton.
The Canadian Airlines Halftime Show on CBC. Brought to you by Canadian Airlines, a member of One World. The Canadian Airlines Halftime Show on CBC. Brought to you by Canadian Airlines, a member of One World.
18-18, the Argos and Ticats here at Ivor Wynne Stadium. Jimmy Kent fires. Danny Mac comes right back. This is the Canadian Airlines Halftime Show. A new feature for you this year. It's called the All-Canadian. Who better to start with than with Lindsay, Ontario's Carl Coulter, who is quite literally the center of attention here in Hamilton.
Good job! Good job!
Carl Coulter is the CFL journeyman. For 10 years, he's paid his dues to Canadian football, from BC to Ottawa to Saskatchewan, and now he finally may have found a home in the Steel City where his work ethic is highly regarded.
I'm pretty intense when I'm out there. I just like to go out there and fly around, have a good time, but be intense and try and make sure that our unit is the most physical unit out there. If you don't take care of your body and stay healthy and training, it can wear on you. And you can get broken down a little bit by pounding all these bigger guys into you all the time. 65 to 70 plays a game. You're going against a guy that's 275, 280 pounds, and you're going toe-to-toe for 5, 6, 7 seconds. You get back in huddle, and 25 seconds later you come out and do it again. So it's a different form of lifestyle. It's a tough way to make a living. How you doing, guys? Welcome to my home. Come on in. So this is a new home for my new bride and I, Christine. We decided to buy in the area and lay down some roots. Just married, April 24th, yeah. Lovely honeymoon, came back and got right into training camp. So, but of course, you say as soon as you buy a house in the CFL, you're going to be traded, kind of thing. So that might have, but I think that I've laid down some roots here, so I've played on enough CFL teams. I think that I'm going to stay here for a while, I hope.
The final play of the 98 Grey Cup. It's good! And the Calgary Stampeders are Grey Cup champions!
Getting there is fine, but it's just not good enough. And it just helps me in the off-season when I'm training. You don't feel like training, or you don't feel like running those extra sprints or something, just to remember what it felt like walking off the field, watching McLaughlin put that thing through the uprights at the end of the game is totally disheartening. So I use it to motivate me.
Give somebody a headache out here!
As every year passes, that chance of getting the cup and becoming a champion and being the best, it diminishes.
Coulter is having a tremendous season. He calls the plays, he calls the checks for the offensive line up front.
Definitely the leader up front, Carl Coulter.
A lot of young guys around don't realize that yet, but I've been 10 years or so, and I'm not satisfied yet. So as every game passes, every year passes, it's just the chances of going back get slimmer and slimmer. So it's just got to make the best of it right now. There's no time like now. You can't wait for next year. And that's what I'm telling some of these guys around here. Let's get there now. You never know what's going to happen.
That's Carl Coulter of the Cats. Coming up on the Canadian Airlines halftime show, Chris Cuthbert and Glenn Suter will preview the Stampeders and the Edmonton Eskimos from McMahon Stadium in Calgary, the second half of this Labor Day Classic. Don't you love the Classic on Labor Day? The love of it starts when you're very young. 18-18, Argos and Tiger Cats from Hamilton. It's a barn burner in Hamilton on Labor Day. The Canadian Airlines halftime show continues. 18-18, the Argonauts and the Tiger Cats. Once this game is over, we'll send you directly to McMahon Stadium in Calgary. The Calgary Stampeders host the Edmonton Eskimos, and with a preview of that game, let's send you out west and join Chris Cuthbert and Glenn Suter.
Well, Scott, the hype hasn't been as ripe, but the excitement is building for the annual Labor Day Classic in Calgary. Not as much verbal jousting, maybe because the Eskimos are 2-6, Glenn Suter, or maybe there are just so many new faces in that green and gold lineup.
A lot of new faces, but this is a very important game for the Edmonton Eskimos. They can really turn their season around with a win. They've shown flashes. Nealon Green has looked great at times and looked like a rookie at times. They've got good performances out of a couple of receivers. I think of Fred Bailey last week and Terry Vaughn throughout the season. But they haven't been able to put it together as a team. If they can do it here on Labor Day, it could turn their season around heading down the backstretch.
So Green is back for the Eskimos. For the Calgary Stampeders, Alan Pitts needs only 108 yards to become the CFL's all-time leading pass catcher in terms of yardage. Scott?
Thanks very much, fellas. Well, it's 18-18 here between the Tiger Cats and the Argonauts. Here, Mark Lee and Chris Walby with their analysis. And, fellas, Darryl Mitchell involved right off the bat.
Well, spectacularly against the Argos to start with, and then a big touchdown catch to get them going. But let's talk about defense first, and the way he looked tentative, I thought, in the first pass he got.
Well, I mean, to start off, you're a Hamilton fan, it starts off great right off the bat. I mean, obviously, they're trying to get Mitchell involved right in the game. He's just going to come across his old favorite, the old cross pattern. Gerald Vaughn picks it off, takes it for 6 the other way, give Hamilton the early lead in the game.
But the veteran Kemp came right back to Mitchell. This is the second pass he got. Great hands, beat the man that got the interception, Gerald Vaughn, for a 30-yard touchdown pass, and so he was back in a big way. Field position.
And what's a game without talking about the pinball? He does it all, and here he does it all first half on punt returns, giving excellent field position to the Toronto offense.
Runs of 58 and 48 yards on the return, but then Danny Mack, in the last minute of the half, caught the Argos lethargic, perhaps not looking for the big deep play. A 56-yard pass to Andrew Gregg to the 3-yard line that set up a stirring finish.
And the magic continues. Danny Mack to who else? You're right, Darren Flutie. Those two combined for a touchdown with about 4 seconds left in the half.
And with the 2-point convert to Corey Grant, it's all tied at 18. It's Argo ball control. Ticat big play so far in this game.
And you know you're going to see a lot of things happen in the second half. Hamilton's going to go and say, we got to start establishing a little bit more stuff on offense. We can't rely on our defense. Toronto, they got to get some big plays. If they do, look for them to come out big time in the second half.
Scott, the Ticats have lost 4 of 5 games decided by 7 points or less. We'll see what they're made of here.
Interesting situation. Coach Jim Barker told us from the Toronto Argonauts, for Jimmy Kemp, this is his time. What does he have to do in the second half in order to establish himself as the starter here in Toronto?
More of the same. I think he's been composed. He went right back to guys like Mitchell and Tyrone Brown, who caught that 10-yard touchdown pass on the very play after he had an offside penalty.
Well, he knew he had Tyrone for the touchdown. He threw it behind him. As you say, came right back to him, caught him through where only he could catch the ball. Nice touchdown, nice composure by the quarterback, Jim Kemp.
Nice to see 2 offenses doing so well against the 2 best defenses in the CFL.
All right, fellas, it is a barn burner here in Hamilton at Iverwin Stadium. 18-18, the Toronto Argonauts and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Tyrone Brown scores a touchdown. Darren Flutie answers right back. A tie here at Iverwin. Capacity 28,830 as the CFL on CBC continues.
The Canadian Airlines Halftime Show on CBC. Brought to you by Canadian Airlines, a member of One World.
Tremendous first half of football, 18-18. Here are the first half statistics. Ball control dominated by the Argonauts, almost 5 minutes more than the Tiger Cats.
Well, I tell you what, that is such a big key right there. I tell you, they had the ball, but as you said, big plays by the Tiger Cats and taking advantage of situations. They catch Toronto sleeping at the end of the half, score a nice touchdown. But I mean, yards rushing even. They're really moving the ball. It's just that big plays by Hamilton and sustained drives by Toronto.
Danny McManus, the leading passer in the CFL, throwing deep and with great results. Jimmy Kemp getting a chance to be the starter on this Argo football team. has had a solid first half with 2 touchdown passes to Brown and to Darryl Mitchell. There's the comparison with the QBs, and not much to choose between them.
Not much to choose, and remember, a lot of that yardage on Danny McManus is the one big throw to Andrew Griggs at the end of the half, so very similar numbers.
Jimmy Kemp has been composed at quarterback, reading well, and looks like he is not showing any rust at all after being off since August the 6th when he got injured against Winnipeg.
Well, the only rust I see on Jimmy today is the fact that in a couple situations he seems to force the throw and it ends up a little bit behind the receiver. But again, his composure, he comes back to the receiver and he puts it on the money the next time. That's a veteran.
We're underway. Van Giel, the converted linebacker, puts both hands over that. Bouncing kickoff from Noel Prefontaine and crosses the 40-yard line. Excellent field position where the Ticats will scrimmage on offense. Coming right up, game 2 of our Labor Day doubleheader, the Battle of Alberta. The Eskimos and the Stampeders, 2 teams that appear to be going in opposite directions. And don't forget, this is the first of back-to-back games between those 2 clubs. The Eskimos can't afford any losses here, or they could be 2-8 by the end of next week.
Well, they got that Nealon kid coming back, Nealon Green, and he's an exciting young quarterback, a quarterback of the future, so big things happening out there.
1st and 10, Tiger Cats at the 42. Van Giel leading the blocking for Ronald Williams. Great pursuit. Kelly Wiltshire on the Argo defense, limiting Williams to a short gain.
Well, anytime you got Van Giel, converted linebacker, being a lead blocker, a lot of the times he's not sure yet where he's got to go. The linebacker is there when he takes the pre-snap read, but the guy he's got to block is gone. There's movement. That's something that'll come with time for a guy like him.
So the gain was just 1 yard, 2nd and 9. McManus up tight to Carl Coulter. Drops back to pass. Flares it out to Williams again. Quick move, gets to the 50, but will be short of the first down.
McManus' pass complete to Williams.
Tiger Cats will punt after 2 plays to start the second half.
Well, the nice thing, I mean, Toronto's doing a great job. We talked about this in the opening of lining up 8 guys, dropping everybody, bringing everything up. So what they do that time, they line up everybody to the kitchen sink, they drop, and they only bring 3 guys. Danny has to go to his outlet pass, which is Ronald Williams in the flat. He turns it up, gets what he can, but unfortunately it's not enough for a first down.
The Argonauts will rush 11 men. They're trying to put heat on Osbaldiston. 1 man back, Pinball Clemens. Clock ticking to 10 seconds. Osbaldiston with the snap. This time has time and boots it deep to Pinball at his own 15. Clemens straight up between the hash marks with a burst of speed. Finally tracked down by Trevor Shaw and Cooper Harris across the 35 to the 38-yard line. A 22-yard return from Clemens on a 45-yard punt.
A 22-yard return, and let's give the guys up front who are holding up the coverage team. The guys on the punt return team are doing an excellent job of keeping the defenders from making the tackle right now, giving Pinball an opportunity after he catches the football to get some vision and see where he's got to go.
Clemens with 135 yards on 4 punt returns so far in this game. The only man in pro football with 5,000 yards rushing and passing, kick returns, and punt returns. First down Argos, Kemp beginning the second half. Quick drop to Tyrone Brown. He's got it. Across the 45, drops the ball. The catch, recover. Big Jeff Cummins has the ball. Argos say the ball made contact with the turf and they should retain possession.
Now, you know, the Hamilton fans in the crowd are not happy with that call. Jeff Cummings thought he was going to waltz into the end zone for a touchdown, but the referee blew him down, said the ground caused it. As a result,
Lancaster humoring the officials. Here's another look at it.
Well, you can see the ball comes out, and that is indeed a fumble. That is a fumble, folks. There's no doubt about it. And Jeff Cummings, you just got robbed.
Burst up the middle, up the gut. Head on with Calvin to take over for a couple of yards and the first down on that short yardage situation. One more look at the fumble or not.
Well, you'll take a look at Brown right here, and there's the hand punching the ball out. It's out right now. He has not got control of that football. That is a fumble, a free ball. Hamilton should have possession of the football.
Eurosius Parker stripping the ball from Tyrone Brown, so the Argos catch a break as the officials ruled he was down. And a short yardage play from Burst, they now scrimmage 1st and 10, just shy of their own 50. 18-18 Argos and Ticats here. Pinball Clemens reverses field, cuts across center field for a gain of about 6.
You know, a lot of people think it's easy to tackle. They say, here's a guy 5'6", 190. How can you not tackle a guy like this? Go in the backyard, grease up a pig, throw him in the yard and try and catch him. You ain't going to catch him. This guy has got change of direction like nobody. And he's talking about retirement. I just don't believe it. I'm going to talk to him after the game. He's got young legs, fresh legs. He could play for another 5 years.
In his 11th season out of William and Mary, he has indeed been talking about retirement. Some folks already starting a pinball for president movement in the Argonauts to replace Bob Nicholson, the outgoing president. I'm not sure. He said he's not sure he's ready for that right away, but most people think there should be a spot for him in the front office if he does decide to end his playing days. A knockdown by Floyd, and he picks it off. Gonzalo Floyd.
Now we talked about Gonzalo Floyd. He's got 4 knockdowns coming into the game. He's got more knockdowns than the defensive backs in the secondary. This is a great man, great anticipation, great job.
Gonzalo Floyd is a defensive end, but that's his 2nd interception of the season, 6th of his career. Unusual for a man known for trying to stop.
Well,
the
here
run.
he is over here in the corner of your screen, and as he comes off, he just got great anticipation. He's working against Pulo Pomeli, gets his hands up. Not only the athletic ability to knock it down, as I said before, he leads the club in knockdowns, but the presence to go back and intercept that ball. Great coordination, up timing. That's just great hand-eye coordination.
His 5th knockdown pass of the season to lead the Cats in that category. First down, Hamilton at center field. McManus in the shotgun. He has a man open. That's Darren Flutie. First down territory for the Tiger Cats. Wide open on the hook curl.
Darren Flutie just reading the defensive coverage, finding a little hole, sitting down in front of the safety. Nice job of catching the ball, forcing the safety to come up and make the play. Alundis Bryce just finds a hole right there, right in front of the safety.
The gain is 12 yards. McManus to Flutie. First down, Hamilton at the Toronto 42-yard line. Cats fans in this sellout. Numerous.
Oh, yes.
Ronald Williams on the pitch out, and close to another first down, leaping over the Argo defense.
What a great job by the offensive lineman on a toss sweep. The sweep is only effective if your tackle can get the hook block. Watch at the top of your screen right there. That is a great job on 93 Fred Perry. Puts him to the ground, allows the corner to be happening, and he takes advantage of it. A nice job.
They'll measure this one. First down. Cats are marching here. Early in the second half. 18-18. McManus mixing up his play calling with balance on offense. He'll keep Williams in the backfield as the O-line lines up against 3 down linemen for Toronto. McManus back to pass, dumps it off. Williams again reverses field across the 30 and is dropped shy of the first down. The gain on the play will be about 5 yards.
Just a nice job of swinging out to Ronald Williams, put him one-on-one. Nice job of tackling by Toronto's Martinez Houston, but it all starts up front. These guys are giving him great protection. Hack, Burns, look at the time he's got. He swings that out north and south. Williams tries to cut it back in, but as I said, nice job by Houston and O'Shea by bringing him down.
Look at that. Number 1 and 2 defenses and offenses in this game. The Cats, the top offense against this tough Argo defense. Another completion. McManus with a hot hand, going back to his favorite target, Flutie.
And it's not just a game of pitch and catch. Everybody thinks how hard it can be to throw the football. It's timing. And these two guys have been together for so many years in BC and Edmonton and here. And watching them work is like magic. I mean, McManus throws this ball. Look how good. It's right on the money. And Donald Smith is no slouch at cornerback. It's thrown where only Darren Flutie can catch the football.
McManus with at least 5 steamboats on that one, getting all kinds of time. This time Flutie in the backfield all alone. As the officials blow the play down. And there's an injury on the play. Donald Smith is suddenly dropped inside the 5-yard line. Smith in pain. We'll check on his situation when we come back. Back at Hamilton, where cornerback Donald Smith is still down as the Argo training staff works on his right leg. He made the tackle on Darren Flutie on that last reception, the 15-yard gain on the sideline. Let's take a look and see if he got himself hurt on that play.
And that doesn't look good, but I tell you what, you can see him. He comes over right now and puts the hit on.
Oh,
and you
look
can
at
just
his
see
ankle.
the knee and the ankle kind of get caught in the turf. We talked about turf. The States is going back to natural grass. Hopefully one day we'll go back to natural grass. I realize it's a multi-purpose facility, but it really does wreak havoc on your knees and ankles. You can just hope that's not the MCL.
Another look at...
You can take a look right here where he does that. And what? I mean, you can see right there, the ankle catches, the knee doesn't stay the same way. It pops out, and you can only hope for good things as they carry him off gingerly off the field.
Well, it was amazing. He got back up and was actually lining up in the secondary before he dropped, just before the Ticats came over the ball. So he's up on his own feet, moving off, but looks like he's in a lot of pain. Donald Smith, the veteran cornerback for the Argonauts. And a big blow if he has to come out of the game. Wayne Shaw, the rookie out of Kent State, a young man who has been tutored all year by Smith, standing by. They're going to move Byron Capers outside, and Shaw is in the game. Smith told me today, I'm grooming him to take my job, but he didn't think it would happen this soon. Here's Williams through the middle, up the gut, and a thundering run inside the Toronto 5-yard line.
And again, it all starts with the big boys up front. The Hoggies do a great job of putting a hat on a hat and let Ronald Williams find a hole. Look at this. I mean, they're just doing a great job of blocking it down right there. Chris Burns with a great wash block. Washes them all the way down past center. A natural seam opens up. Ronald Williams finds it. Nice game.
Smith on the bench testing himself. Williams has rushed for 41 yards, 12 yards through the air. McManus has been perfect in the second half, 4 for 4. Ball on the 3-yard line. Second down and about a yard. The Cats can get a first down. They get 3 more cracks at the goal line. The handoff to Higgins. Touchdown. The linebacker in at running back. The versatility coming through as he scores for the Cats.
A couple of linebackers key on this play. The offensive line does a great job. Dittman, Prince, and Carl Coulter on the left side slide over and get the job done. Lead block by converted linebacker Jason Van Giel opens the hole. And the other linebacker, they're partners in this now, takes it in. Joe Higgins with a touchdown.
I'll tell you, Joe Higgins is starting at linebacker, but he played both running back and kickoff return at college at Purdue. Ron Lancaster says he can also throw with both his left and right arms. He's an accomplished quarterback. He also likes to be the lead blocker in short yardage situations as Osvaldoson comes through with the convert. And the Tiger Cats take the lead, breaking the tie. Here in the third quarter, it's Hamilton 25, Toronto 18 as Joe Higgins scores for the Cats. The man for all seasons, Joe Higgins, is lining up on kickoff for the Tiger Cats after rumbling for 3 yards. And the lead touchdown, 25-18. Clemens deep with Ryan Terry standing just outside their own 10-yard line for the Argos. Osbaldiston to kick off. The fans roaring here at Ivor Wynn. Sellout crowd for this Labor Day Classic. And it has been a classic. Kickoff bounces to Clemens at his own 17. Clemens with a quick move, knocked down shy of the 30. Short return of just 12 yards. Joe Higgins. Who else makes the tackle? Higgins with the tackle, and this was the scene just moments ago.
Well, they're running the wishbone. That's what I like to see back there. 3 backs in a V formation. Van Giel right there, the big block. He seals it to the inside. Tim Princeton comes to the outside, blocks back. Big Ronald Williams kicks out. There's a big hole, and Higgins waltzes in untouched.
Van Giel out of Lambeth, Ontario, the Waterloo native, another ex-linebacker brought into the backfield, and he's been working well as a blocking back. First down Argos at their own 30, trailing by a converted touchdown. Kemp fakes the handoff, rolls right, has time, wide open. Tyrone Brown at the 45-50, across center field, breaks 2 tackles, finally pushed out of bounds by Orlando Steinauer at the 42-yard line. Huge gain.
Oh, we talked a lot. We gave a lot of credit to the offensive lineman of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but Toronto does a great job of giving Kemp time. Here's Tyrone Brown. He's just going to work down, find the opening right now. He's going to go to the sideline, gets the football, and turns it up. Gerald Vaughn and Rob Hitchcock knock each other off the football, and Orlando Steinauer has to come over and save a touchdown by knocking him out of bounds.
A 38-yard gain. Stefan Potasic, number 14, in it wide out for the Argos. He was playing touch football for the Mississauga Rattlers until he decided to come back to the CFL. Ryan Terry, pitch left. McGriggs with a shoestring tackle across the 40. Let's go down to Scott Russell.
Well, Mark was talking to Jerry Townend, the athletic therapist of the Toronto Argonauts. That's Donald Smith on the bench. He's got his shoe off. That's his right shoe. He has a sprained ankle. The cornerback on that play. He's been examined by Dr. Greenberg of the Argo staff, and they're still trying to determine whether or not Donald can get back in the game, but it is a sprained ankle. Mark?
And it looks painful for Donald Smith. Second down, 8. Argos. Kemp, pressure, sacked! Montford and Campbell drop him at the 50.
Well, just a speed rush by Joe Montford. Coming around the corner, and Chris Joskis.
Montford's slow to get up, Chris.
Well, we hope nothing serious happened there. But as you said, they did meet at the pile. A lot of times when there's a lot of humanity there, something happens. But he just comes around. He's working on Chris Joskis at the bottom of your screen. He just comes around, him and Mike Campbell. They wrap him up. As you say, sack number 14, and he is limping off the field, and hopefully he'll return because he's an exciting football player.
Around the outstretched arms of Chris Joskis, and Montford got the worst of it from Campbell, ending up on the bottom of that pile.
Well, Campbell's a little upset that he's getting all the sacks, so he figures he's going to put him out for a while, and he's going to play a little rush in.
Third down and long. Punting situation. Prefontaine aims it for the sideline. Amerson is there. He'll get the bounce at the 10. Archie Amerson across the 15 and then rocked. The Cats, with poor field position, will scrimmage after that 6-yard return, and Montford gets help. Welcome back to Hamilton, where Andrew Henry is up off the field and back on the bench after taking a ferocious hit.
Well, Andrew Henry comes down. This is good coverage. He's staying in his lane. He sees the ball carry, comes back. But watch this. Look at that head get jolted by his own player, Antonius Bonner. I mean, they're going to make sure that whoever's around that ball is going down. On that time, both the ball carrier and Andrew Henry went down.
He looks a little groggy. There's Joe Montford, who hurt his ankle, it appears, on that sack of Jimmy Kemp.
Well, in that play, I think all Montford did was he kind of caught his ankle on Campbell's as he went into the pile. So he's just going to put a little bit more spat, a little bit more tape job on the shoe, keep that ankle nice and tight.
Argos have got to hope Henry can stay in the game. They've already lost Donald Smith, who's on the bench with an ankle injury. First down, Tiger Cats just across their own 15. Fake handoff, play action pass. McManus across the middle. Morielli's got it. Breaks a tackle from Houston. Gets outside of Bryson, is ridden out of bounds at the 30.
Oh, there's no contact in this game, is there? Well, I'll tell you what a great job of not only catching the football, but holding on to it after he just gets KO'd for Matavius Houston. Just a great hit. Great, watch this, right in your screen. Ball comes loose, has a presence, hangs onto the ball, and turns it up. That's pure adrenaline keeping him going right there.
It was swarmed going out of bounds. That was the 7th straight completion by Danny McManus. Hot here in the second half after that thrilling conclusion to the first half. First down, the give. Ronald Williams at full speed across the line of scrimmage in a big game. Close to a first down.
This is exactly what you want to do. You get a pass, you set up the run. You use the run to set up the pass. He's doing a great job, Mac is. He's throwing the ball very well, but he's also smart enough to know he's got a bull behind him. Give him the ball, let the offensive lineman work in front of him. Ronald Williams does the rest by finding a hole and running over people.
Started his career in BC, where he was a backup to Corey Philpott. Moved on to Winnipeg, had some trouble there, was cast off, and has found a home here. behind this big Cat offensive line, which has been giving McManus great protection and opening huge holes for the running game. 2nd and 1. Again, Williams. First down, Tiger Cats. Close to the 45-yard line.
Now, if Toronto wants to play 5-6 guys on the line of scrimmage, the only thing that will hurt that is if your offensive line gets a hat on a hat, creates hole. Look at this. Everybody's got a hat. Great job. What happens then is your linebackers are already up there. Wilchar's got to come over, or your safety's got to come over, your DB's got to come over and make the play because he's already in the secondary.
Tiger Cats have been opportunists, scoring 14 points off turnovers. The Gerald Vaughn interception for a touchdown. And, of course, converting Gonzalo Floyd's pick for an interception or for a touchdown. High snap. McManus gets it. Fires it out of bounds. Great thinking by the veteran quarterback as Coulter let a rare one go high.
Well, it was definitely a high snap, and hey, Danny's a great athlete, but you know, I don't think his vertical leaves much to be desired. Watch this. He's not expecting this. It goes up. He does. He says, "Oh, that's gone. I better go back and get it." Gets a little bit of a good bounce here, and this is what a veteran does. Got the presence of mind. Don't take a loss. Get rid of the football.
Of course, a rule change from last season. A quarterback can throw the ball out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage as we look at Carl Coulter, the man featured at halftime, the journeyman here who has paid his dues in the CFL through 10 seasons, played special teams, been a backup, and now the leader calling the signals on this offensive line for Hamilton. Man open. Great effort by Archie Amerson to get open and then make the catch in traffic, and it looks like Adrian Smith is hurt on the tackle.
Well, he tried to go for the ball. He laid his body out. We're not talking a whole lot about Archie Amerson today. He wants to be part of this offense. He says, hey, I'm a better athlete just returning punts. Has an opportunity to go deep here. Throws it. Nice throw right here. He stretches right out. Look at this. He leaves his feet to try and get this football. That's effort. Look at the pressure right here. Toronto's defense. Martavius Houston coming. One extra guy. Can't be blocked. Danny Mack has to get rid of the football. Does a great job.
Well, another member of the Argo secondary in trouble. Adrian Smith favoring his leg on the bench as Osbaldiston stands at his own 30 to punt. Amerson yet to make a catch or carry the ball for the Cats offensively in this football game. Has not been used. Here's the big rush. Ozzie gets it off. Pinball takes it on the fly at the 30. Bellies back, and then Lamar Griggs lassoes him in a rodeo move. Big tackle on special teams from the Griggs. Tony Burse across the 40-yard line through traffic, running hard for the Argos, and a gain of about 7 yards. Another look at that huge rush on Osbaldiston. It was nearly blocked.
Well, Toronto's lining up everybody and bringing everybody on it. They get a great hand on it. Watch, he comes up the middle, and you see the ball just over the outstretched fingers. Nice job, nice pressure, and that'll bug a kicker after a number of times.
2nd and 3. Play action. Kemp fools everybody. Will bring it down and just get across and to the turf safely before being hammered by Gerald Vaughn.
That's the second time he's done the naked bootleg. He runs with the ball, gets what he has to do. That's a smart quarterback. You know he only needs 4 yards for a first down. Smart enough to slide, get the first down, keep the chain moving.
Caught Monfort over pursuing. Got outside him for the first down. Across to the 45-yard line. Kemp mixing it up. He's thrown 2 touchdown passes, but been picked twice as well. Time going deep to Daryl Mitchell. What a catch! What a one-handed grab by Mitchell in close coverage.
Well, Chris Schilling says, why couldn't you stay down in Chicago for another week? Because I tell you what, this is just an outstanding highlight reel catch. A one-hander. One-on-one, Chris Schilling. Daryl Mitchell sees the football, one hand, catches it and brings it in. You just can't teach that kind of thing in school. That's talent, Mark.
Not only that, he had to turn and look over his other shoulder, and any receiver will tell you that's one of the most disorienting moves you can make with the ball in the air, and he pulled it off gracefully. Huge catch. Argos now threatening first down on the Tiger Cat 22. Pinball, the only man in the backfield. Kemp to pass, going to the end zone. He's got it! Mitchell! Touchdown, Argos!
Flag down, no mark on the far side.
Mitchell and Brown celebrating, but it may be premature. It's coming back. It looks like the Argos offside.
Offside. Toronto number 87.
Oh my.
First down repeated.
Mitchell himself was offside.
Well, he's offside. He's anticipating. He knows that he's quickly becoming the go-to guy for Jim Kemp. And I tell you what, another great catch. Wishes he had that one back and just stayed back 1 millisecond later.
Kemp going deep on 2 occasions. To the clutch man Mitchell. It'll be 1st and 15 on the penalty. Kemp back to pass. Flush from the pocket. Looking nowhere to go. And smothered at the 25 by Derek McCready.
Nice job of the defensive backs, the secondary of Hamilton covering the receivers. Great job because Kemp was looking downfield. He had time to check off 3 receivers. Still nobody there, had to take off with it. Defense stuffs them up, forces another play.
Last play of the 3rd quarter as we turn to the 4th. It's Hamilton by 7. The weather has cooperated. The teams have been playing superb football, and the Labor Day rivalry is alive and well as we check the 3rd quarter stats of this hard-fought football game.
And you can see it's evening out really good. Again, we talked about the fact that in the 1st quarter, Toronto had a little bit of edge in possession. That's still showing up on the clock right now, but I tell you what, since that time, Hamilton has moved the ball, Toronto has moved the ball. It's been a seesaw battle. Last game, defense is controlled. This game, the offenses are controlling.
Argos 2nd down and 12. The ball on the Hamilton 25. Kemp trying to make himself heard through the din here at Ivor Wynn in the shotgun. Time, he'll go deep. Touchdown, Tyrone Brown. Great speed. A 25-yard pass from Jimmy Kemp to Tyrone Brown. His 2nd of the game.
And his ability to put into 2nd gear. He's running full speed. He gets another gear shift and pulls away from Gerald Bond, keeping his eye on the ball. Makes a great grab in the back of the end zone. 2nd touchdown for him today. Boy, he's turning out to be an exciting receiver for the Argonauts this year.
His 2nd today and 5th on the season. Tyrone Brown, who runs a 4.340 out of Toledo. And the Argos have a deep threat. Kemp and Brown teaming up. And with the point after now from Dan Giancola, we will be tied again. The ball out, down, kicked, and good. And we're knotted at 25 here in the 4th quarter.
Well, I tell you, you mentioned a deep threat. They got 2 now. You're going to see him one-on-one with Gerald Vaughn. He's just going to take it. He's going to break it inside to the outside. There he goes. Now he turns his speed up 1 more notch, sees the football, lays out. Great concentration, great speed to be able to run under that pass. You see it from a different angle. He's just throwing it up right now, throwing it over where at least nobody else can get it. He uses his athletic ability and his speed to catch that football.
The Argos coming into this game with a low-risk, rather anemic offense, and with the return of Mitchell and the stellar play of Brown here today, they're looking like the Argos of old when it comes to passing.
Well, who are you going to double team if you're going to double team at all? You double team Mitchell, then Tyrone Brown's going to kill you. You double team him, then Mitchell's going to kill you. You got the beautiful thing right now because of the fact that you got 2 speedsters in the inside.
Well, there's Gerald Vaughn taking a seat on the Ticat bench. He had the pick to start the game for 43 yards and a touchdown, but he's been burned twice for touchdowns by the Argos, by Darryl Mitchell and now Tyrone Brown. So a bittersweet afternoon for Gerald Vaughn. Prefontaine to kick for the Argos. A high end-over-end kick. Parker at his own 5-yard line. with a burst of speed, and then he puts his head down and runs into a host of Argo tacklers. Let's go down to Scott Russell.
Right, Mark, with the general manager of the Tiger Cats, Neil Lumsden, you haven't won a lot of close ball games this year, and here's your chance. How important is this situation?
Well, I think it's very important. I think the confidence level that comes with winning tight games in a good football game is real key. Last week's game in Edmonton was very important. Come back, tie the game, and go into overtime, and we controlled the ball. We have the talent to do it. I think a little bit of that confidence is going to help us control the ball more, and in tight games, you got to do that.
Neil encouraging that Darren Flutie's finally found the end zone.
Well, he's so important to this offense, and Danny looks to him, and all the other receivers will feed off of him. He's a beauty.
Great crowd. Good luck.
Oh, yeah, thanks a lot.
Mark?
Cats were 6-2 at this point last year. They come in 4-4, hoping to break this second-place tie with the Argos. The pitch is to Eric Lapointe. Turns the corner across the 30 to the 35, and very close to the first down for the Canadian back.
Well, here's a guy that's two-time Heck Crichton winner, most valuable player in university football in Canada, and you can see why. Gets his nose, sees where he's going to go, and then turns it up, north-south, breaks tackles, and the thing you cannot teach good running backs is their legs never stop.
Ranked number 2 in the CFL in average yards rush, 7.6. He had 9 on that play. 2nd and 1. He'll get the call again. This time runs into heavy traffic, but he'll be close, very close to the first down. Across the 36.
Well, nice job to get it. They know what they got to do. They give it back to him, hoping he can pop through the hole. Toronto's defense got to give them credit. Let's take a look at Ronald Williams here on the lead block. Nice job on Breckerfield, blocking him down. He's got to get his helmet in front of him, though, to keep him away from the ball carrier, but that's a good contact.
Rod Lancaster, who has engineered a revival in this town. The Cats were 2-16 2 years ago, 12-5-1 in the Grey Cup appearance last year. And he has high expectations for this team. He didn't even want to give them the 3 days off on this Labor Day break. He'd like to see them in that clubhouse and on the field every day, intense as he is.
I think it's like anybody. You come off vacation, going back to your regular job. It's always hard to get back in the swing of things, and that's what he was worried about.
A lot of players find it hard to take 3 days off and then get pumped up for a 10-week finale. Back to pass, McManus over the middle. Archie Amerson with his first catch of the game across center field, and a first down for Hamilton.
And as he signals to the bench, he says, I'm ready. Let me be part of this offense. We talked about him earlier. He's only being used primarily as a punt returner, kickoff returner, but he is an explosive receiver, and he will give defensive backs fits out there.
Picking that one just in front of Bryce. Tremendous catch and a first down for the Cats. He only had 1 rush coming into this game for -7 yards, so he has not been featured as a running back at all. And here we are in the 4th quarter, and he makes his first catch and gets his first yardage on offense. McManus with the handoff to Eric Lapointe. Lapointe moves through the line, crawls for a few more, and a big gain on the ground up through the middle.
And you know, we've talked about this kid a lot, heard a lot about him. He has just got some incredible vision and patience to let the hole develop. A lot of backs will get the football and run 100 miles an hour to where they got to go, and the hole may not be there yet. He is feeling his offensive lineman. He's seeing where the hole is, and as a result, he's being very productive on the ground.
An outstanding Canadian, as you mentioned, a 2-time Heck Crichton Award winner out of Mount Allison. He'll get the pitch again. Lapointe, right side, needs 2. Very close again to the first down as Mike O'Shea drops him at about the 43-yard line.
And you know, the big boys up front are loving this. They're getting a tee off on him right now. Helps Danny, because the next time they give a run set, fake like they're going to run it, and they throw the ball, the defensive lineman's just going to hesitate just a little bit before he starts pass rushing, just in case it's a run.
Came into this game the leading rusher for the Tiger Cats with 503 yards on the ground, ranked 5th in the CFL, ahead of Ronald Williams, ranked 8th. Hamilton now with 100 yards on the ground. McManus continuing to mix it up, this time in the air. Grant goes up high, then pays the price from Adrian Smith at the 40. Short game.
And you gotta like this. You know what? Everybody says, yeah, it's a nice throw. Corey Grant had to leave his feet to make the catch. But a receiver knows he's going to get hit when he leaves the field. Jumps up, catches the football. All you can hope for is somebody misses you right now. He knows he's going to get hit, but he's got the presence of mind to catch the football, say, I'll do what I can to make anything positive as far as the yardage.
Grant, the rookie out of Laurier. Another outstanding Canadian to crack this lineup at the wideout position. Second down and about 5 for the Tiger Cats. McManus in the shotgun. Good snap from Coulter. He'll go deep again, looking for Trevor Shaw, but it's not even close. Fans looking for some interference.
Well, Danny Mack rushed that pass. A little bit of pressure up the middle by the Toronto defense. Didn't allow Danny to sit back there like he has been most of the afternoon and wait for the receiver to come open. As a result, he had to throw it a little bit before he wanted to. Lead the receiver to where he thought he would be, but it was just a little too far.
And it looked like Shaw had broken free of Bryce and the other Shaw, Wayne Shaw of the Argos, but the pass was about 5 yards too far, and that's what the Argos have been doing. Rushing, sending an extra man to rush McManus. Osbaldiston will attempt this field goal just across the 44-yard line. Into a slight wind. It's got legs. It's good. McManus breaks the tie as the Tiger Cats go up by 3 with 10 minutes to go in the game.
If you get a chance when you're in Hamilton, visit the newly renovated Canadian Football League Hall of Fame. All the greats are featured. There is, of course, this year's induction ceremony where Donald Barker, Dickie Harris, and Conrich Holloway are honored October the 15th. That's the CFL Hall of Fame on Jackson Street in Hamilton. And there, of course, are some of the names of great Tiger Cats: Angelo Mosca, Rocky DiPietro, Bernie Falone, Tommy Joe Coffey. They're all up there, and they're all featured in the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame. Mark?
Scott, a lot of fans, of course, miss the likes of Bernie Falone, who passed away earlier this year from colon cancer. He'll be missed. First down, Argos at their own 35. Kemp, handoff to Pinball Clemens, negotiating for about 5 yards through that Ticat defense when it looked like he had nowhere to go.
Still positive yards, and that's what you want. I mean, you want to be able to take advantage of everything. Don't go on a steady diet of just throwing the ball, and Kemp's doing a great job. Both quarterbacks are, as a matter of fact, of mixing the game plan up.
Montfort back in the game for the Cats, having that injured ankle taped up. It's his left ankle. Jimmy Kemp, 4 of 5 so far here in the second half for 105 yards. He's been accurate. 2nd and 5. Handoff up the middle to Burse. Very close to the first down. Dropped right on the 45. Fans don't like the spot.
Well, he kind of bounced at a 45, but I tell you what, the referee saw it. He's going to mark it right now. Watch Joe Montfort on the bottom. He sees it. He's going to try and come back inside, make the play right here. Puts a hat on the ankle. Good tackle. Right on the 45. Just a little, it's almost like a little draw. Quick hit and draw right there. You can't get the guys up the field.
Kemp's eyes were looking right at Joe Higgins, the outside linebacker, trying to read him to see what his pursuit was. He was staying out, so he gave the ball up the gut.
And that's what he should do. Remember, he has done the bootleg twice, so if he sees him come in, he's going to take it.
First down, Argos at their own 45. Crowd trying to take Kemp out of the game. Stumbles in the drop back. Sack! Ball goes out. They'll rule him down. As Higgins goes to the end zone. 2nd down, says Glenn Johnson.
Oh, they bring an all-out blitz up the middle, not picked up. Comes free as a bird. Jim Kemp gets nailed. Ball comes loose. Joe Higgins thinks he's got an easy touchdown, but they ruled him down.
Did the ball come out before he hit the ground or before his knee went down?
That's what we have to see right now. I mean, he got hit from the front. You can see here comes the blitz right now. Nobody picks up Lamar McGriggs. He hits him down right there.
Now he was down. McGriggs with great pursuit right through the middle. 2nd, 18. Kemp needs a big pass. He has time across the middle. Bassani had it and dropped it. It's intercepted. Calvin Tingle has the ball for the Cats. Across the 40, 35, and out of bounds.
Well, I tell you, a great read. They throw it to him. He's just having that kind of a time. He just wants to get the ball.
Paul
Nobody's gonna harm
Mazzati,
himself.
normally
Paul
with sure
Mazzati.
hands, coughs it up, and the Cats are on offense. Calvin Tiggle with a 22-yard interception return on a pass that Mazzati normally makes routinely.
Well, the ball's just thrown, and you can see right here, right in the screen there, Jeff Cummings comes back and says, you not only didn't catch the football, but I'm going to lay you out. Just a phenomenal thing. It's not bad enough you don't catch it. Watch Paul Mazzati just coming into the top of your screen. He wants to make the play. Oh, but Jeff Cummings just catches him because he ain't looking for him.
That's 270 pounds versus 180, so 90-pound difference on that train wreck at midfield. But now the Cats are threatening. The give is to the point. Lots of speed, but tripped up by Demetrius Maxey with Dave Hack all over him on the block.
Well, just a nice job of Maxey making the tackle on this. He's being blocked by Hack and reaches over. You can see Calvin Tiggle there. The ball bounces out. Calvin Tiggle grabs it, starts to turn it back up here. He's going to go. He's looking at end zone. Paul Mazzati just gets cranked, and Jim Kemp has to come over and push him out of bounds.
Ball went right off of Mazzati's chest as he let the ball get too close. McManus second down. Across the middle. Emerson's got the ball and a first down inside the 10.
He is on fire right now. I mean, it tells you what turnovers can do to momentum in a game. Both offenses be moving the football, but when you get a key break and interception like that, it deflates one team and inflates the other. Danny Mack is just taking advantage of that right now, and he's marching them down again.
Emerson with the All-American from Florida State, capers on his tail, reaches back, goes into the air, makes a great catch before Bonner puts the lick on him. It is first and goal, Tiger Cats on the 9. McManus bootleg right, looking for an open receiver in the corner. Touchdown! Darren Flutie! Darren Flutie with his second touchdown catch of the game to go with 2 last week against Edmonton. And the Cats have taken control with 6:13 to play.
And I tell you what, when Toronto's expecting to run, and Danny Mack, who's not known for the most fleet of foot, gets outside in a bootleg and has time to wait for Flutie to come open, you know they're executing really well.
Danny Mack with a big smile. And a pat on the back from Ron Lancaster. Osbaldiston's convert will make it 35-25. McManus with the hottest arm in the CFL. More like that today in a 10-point lead. Darren Flutie with back-to-back touchdowns, and his Tiger Cats open a 10-point lead with 5:53 to play.
Just a great job of play action. Everybody's going to slant that way. Danny Mack comes out in the bootleg. Martavius Houston's got to get him. He's in a no-win situation. If he runs, he'll tackle him. Gives Danny extra time to throw the ball. He finds Darren Flutie in the corner of the end zone. Touchdown.
Having a great day with his big brother Doug in attendance here. The Buffalo Bills starting quarterback coming down the 403 to watch here today in Ivor Wynne. Ryan Terry breaks a tackle over the 40, down the sidelines, cuts in, big return on the kickoff for the Argonauts across the Hamilton 45-yard line. A 46-yard return as McManus and Flutie take a break for refreshments after a great series.
Well, it's the second 2-touchdown week in a row. I mean, he just does a nice job. He plays with a little Antonius Bonner, fakes inside, comes outside, finds the corner, presence of mind to keep his feet in bounds. Danny Mack right on the money.
McManus engineering a scoring drive in just 3 plays over 30 yards in a time just under 2 minutes for the 9-yard touchdown reception. There's Doug Flutie here at Ivor Wynne wearing the Bills cap, getting ready to start his second season at starting quarterback for the Bills next weekend. Big touchdown pass on Saturday in the preseason against Pittsburgh. That pass in the flats, too far for Pinball Clemens.
And you know, we talked a lot about Darren Flutie getting the touchdown, but we also got to mention on both drives, Archie Amerson has come up with some great key catches to keep drives alive, and that was a key catch Amerson had to get it down that scoring zone. You see the pressure coming right now. They're working on the offensive line. Steven Salter just gets beat a little bit by Cummins, comes in and slams Kemp to the turf.
Turnovers have been a killer for the Argos here today. 3 interceptions have all led to 3 touchdowns. 21 points off turnovers. Kemp, second and long in the shotgun. He'll keep Burst to block. Now he'll run. Kemp across the 40. Tago hits him. So does Steinauer. But he'll be short of the first down.
He'll be 3 yards short. And I tell you what, here's a guy with a lot of heart. He's just doing whatever he can. Receivers aren't open. He's not going to waste a throw. He's going to try and get it on his own. Takes off, and he's really trying to get to that marker to keep the chains moving, get another first down. But kudos to the defense of Hamilton, who stopped him short. You can see nobody open. Great job of coverage by the Hamilton secondary. Tucks the ball, runs up, tries to put his nose close, but Tiggle and Steinauer deny him the first down.
But perhaps enough to get Dan Giancola into field goal range. He'll spot the ball at the 44. He's been good today on 1 from 36, his longest this season, 52 yards. Never played college football, was a soccer player, spent 6 years playing minor pro football in Buffalo. Says he's got 150 friends and relatives in from Thorold, Ontario. And there they are, all on their feet on the far side from 44 yards out. Giancola is good to trim the Ticat lead to a converted touchdown. What a story he's been. He was only asked to kick 1 field goal in preseason. He made it a 45-yarder and was cut the next day, but was saved by the expansion of the rosters by 2 players to 39. It allowed the Argos to carry 2 kickers, Giancola for the field goals, Prefontaine for the kickoffs and punting.
Well, you're right on, Mark. What they originally had planned without the expansion was that Noel Prefontaine was going to do both jobs. But I think one of the nicest stories that we had, or we heard about Giancola, is he talks to all his fans and family,
entire section,
friends, and all his 6 girlfriends, and we won't get him in trouble with that. But, you know, but the nice thing is they call a pinball game that nickname Clutch in training camp. I mean, that's phenomenal. Here's a guy that the players, he had to win the veterans over.
And you know, after every kick, he always gives the big reaction. He says he got that habit from playing in the school grounds, doing it, pretending to be a pro football kicker, and his teammates say, can't you just look like you've been here before?
Well, you better tell him right now, Dan, you are in the big leagues now.
And that's the scene at McMahon Stadium in Calgary as Nealon Green warms up. He'll get the start at quarterback for the Eskimos. They meet the Stampeders next in the Battle of Alberta, game 2 of our Labor Day doubleheader.
Anyway, what we were going to talk about earlier, as we see Dave Dickinson warming up.
Will he get the starter, Mike McCoy, who's won 3 games as a backup?
You know what? I think that's a great situation to have at Calgary. Mike McCoy came and did a really great job for him, leading him to 3 victories. But I mean, Dave Dickinson's your man. He's tutored under Jeff Garcia, who's now with the San Francisco 49ers in the NFL. I think you got to give it to Dave. He's your man. When he's back, he assumes the #1 role.
Battle of Alberta coming right up after this Labor Day Classic here in Hamilton. Ticats leading Toronto 35-28. Converted touchdown. Exciting offensive football game with 4:27 and ticking to go in the game. First down. Tiger Cats at the 35. McManus handing off to Ronald Williams. Into traffic, and he's very close to the 40. About halfway to the first down marker. McManus has been 9 for 12 and 105 yards passing in the second half.
You know, he's really caught fire, Mark, because he was only 7 of 23 in the first half. And he's one of those guys, when he gets hot, look out.
Jimmy Kemp has had a pretty good start. The 3 interceptions have been killers, leading to touchdowns. Deep, McManus down the sideline to Grant. Hit him in the hands. He couldn't hold on. Coverage from Wayne Shaw.
Nice job of Wayne Shaw running stride for stride, both looking back to the football. Ball just out of Corey Grant's hands, but you got to give the rookie on both sides good effort for going after that football.
Rookie on rookie. But Grant couldn't come down with it. And so it's a punting situation, 3rd and 5. Paul Masadi, who has not been featured in the offense this season, is talking about retirement himself. 12 seasons in the league.
Well, when you only throw him 15 balls during the season, he's got no rhythm. He needs to get into the game.
Exactly.
The quarterback should start throwing him the football so Paul can come up with his normal catches. Right now, he's only getting it once or twice a game. If that, he's cold. It's like taking a guy off the bench.
Argos will rush 11 men again against Osbaldiston, looking for the block, looking to rush the punt. Pinball Clemens, the lone Argo deep at his own 27. This time they'll turn back and set up the block. A shank from Osbaldiston that rolls out at the 38-yard line of the Argonauts. Right in front of the Tiger Cat bench. A 32-yard punt, below average for Ozzie.
Well, only 32 yards, but the nice thing is there's no return on that thing. It goes out of bounds, so you don't have to worry about having net yards or having them return it another extra 10 yards back the other way.
Kemp has been in situations like this before, coming off the bench in the West semifinal last year, leading the Eskimos to an upset victory over the BC Lions, a team that had won 6 in a row. His numbers here today, 11 of 21, 2 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions.
And he's got the weapons, Marks. He's got the weapons.
Again, the crowd trying to drown him out. They'll come up over the center and straight back. Hurries the pass, looking for Tyrone Brown, but again, he goes in, and the pass goes out, nowhere near the receiver.
Miscommunication. We talked earlier, he hasn't played since August 6th. That's one of those times where timing of working in practice with the first group for longer than 1 week will really result in completions and first downs.
2nd and long for the Argos when we come back. Well, the Calgary fans have battened down the hatches of McMahon Stadium, getting set for the Battle of Alberta. The Eskimos and the Stampeders had sold out McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Everybody wearing their colors, and it looks like the weather will be fine too. And our fans here in Hamilton decked out just the same in another sellout, 28,895 at Ivor Wynn. A 2nd and long situation. Kemp nearly intercepted. Calvin Tagle back, covering Daryl Mitchell.
Well, you know what? You can't talk enough about a linebacker that got that kind of range right there. Goes in his back pedal. He's got it covered. Not just an ordinary running back, but Daryl Mitchell. Look at this. This is great drop. Comes back to the football. Look at this. This is exactly what you want out of your linebacker. Great range, great reaction.
Parker wondering what he can do to get his team back into this game. 2:33 to play, and as Kemp was leaving the field, he was talking heatedly with Cummins and Mike Campbell, the former Argo, who hates the Argos now.
You know, Mike's always got a word to say to everybody.
Look at this average, 54 yards for Prefontaine. Another rocket. Deep taken by Parker. Beats the first man, but it looks like a block from behind by Chris Schelling. Flags on the play. A 52-yard punt from Prefontaine. A 10-yard return, but it will be coming back. Lancaster gets the bad news. And bad field position for the Cats.
This is something you don't want. You know, you got the lead. You got 2:22 left in the game. Don't make mistakes.
Illegal block. Hamilton, number 30, first down.
Don't put yourself in a hole. Play smart football. This is what it's called, 60 minutes. I mean, they get a nice punt. Prefontaine booms it. There's Eurasius Parker. Now look at that. You're behind there. You're blocking from behind. Let him go. He's not even got the right angle to make the play anyway. He's only doing that for contain. Don't put your team in a hole. Exactly.
So it'll be first down. Ticats at their own 15. Andrew Grigg wide right. Grant left. Flutie in the backfield. He'll block. The give to Ronald Williams. No place to go as Glenn Young wraps him up with help from Capers. Darren Flutie has had a tremendous day for the 2nd week in a row. 6 receptions, 81 yards, and 2 more touchdown catches to go with the 2 he had last week against Edmonton after a rather slow start. You know, he's been battling a bad back. He didn't even think he was going to play last week.
And he has a great game.
He has a great
2 touchdowns, and that's what makes a champion right there. It's heart.
Another champion, his brother Doug looking on. He'll come to as many games as he can from Buffalo. About an hour's drive down the highway. The pitch out to Ronald Williams. across and close to the 30-yard line and the first down marker.
Are you telling me Doug Flutie's driving here? With all the money he's making, he's not buying a plane? He can fly here.
Big $6 million signing bonus.
$6 million. I used to get checks with a lot of those zeros on, but there was no number before it.
Yeah. Says he's trying to get those Flutie Flakes in Canada.
I'd love to see those. That's a great cause. And wish him all the best. He said he raised about $1 million for himself at the border already, and you just got to love that.
$1 million for autism.
He's also got an album coming out.
Yes, he does.
He was up here before the game telling us him and his brother, they call him the Flutie Gang.
They changed the name from the Flutie Brothers to the Flutie Gang with his new album, which is due out in October.
Yeah, and he said it's got some swing in it, some blues, all original recordings. So, hey, I think that'll be pretty exciting to hear.
Orchestrates an offense and a rock group in the offseason as Osvaldoson gets set to punt, standing inside his own 10. This time the Argos will send Pinball Clemens back and Adrian Smith. They've been rushing 11. This time we'll try to set up the return, it looks like. Osvaldoson on the fly, pinball at center field. Tries to beat Cummins, but can't. Great tackle, open field by Jeff Cummins, the big man.
He looked like, you know what? I'm sure when Jeff Cummins runs down the field, Pinball looked like a little pork chop to a hungry man. He grabbed him. He wasn't letting him get away. That's the last meal for that man. But when you got a guy, that just shows you what kind of team you have. When you got your defensive lineman running downfield, making a play like that.
Look at Cummins laughing. Apparently he knows everybody on both teams, and he spends the entire game chatting with guys.
Well, he talks to everybody. I mean, he's tackling Pinball Clemens, who could very well be the next premier of Canada. But, you know, on that play, it was like the last meal.
He has a good time. Lancaster can't believe how many guys he knows in the CFL. He's been all over the league. But when the ball is on the line, he answers the call. Clemens gets the handoff, reaching out to the 45-yard line. He'll be about 4 yards short of the first down.
Nice job of the Toronto offense. They're going to go with a hurry-up right now. Get him on there. They know the time is against them right now, so let's go with the hurry-up.
1:46 to play in the game. Argos trail by a converted touchdown, 35-28. Kemp at his own 50. Will pass, complete to Pinball, but very close to the first down. Great tackle by Erosius Parker.
Great tackle. You can hear the pop all the way up here. They're not taking it off right now. They're still playing.
Very, very close to the first down marker. Parker controls Pinball, who tried to make the plant and come inside. It will be a first down. The Argos stay on offense. 1:39 to go. I formation backfield. Burst now moving. The handoff to Pinball. Big hole through the middle and across the 35-yard line.
Nice job running the football. Nice job for a young offensive lineman getting some push. Puts him in second and short. Allows him to use the full playbook.
Hulu Pumeli was slow to get off the left offensive tackle, number 51 for the Argos. But he'll stay in the hurry-up offense. There's no time to catch your breath. 2nd and 4. Kemp. Time. Across the middle. Darryl Mitchell has it. There's a flag on the play. Outside. He's got the first down and out of bounds at the Argo bench. 1:19 to play.
Well, one of the things that happens with when you go no huddle is sometimes the defensive lineman will get a shot on you. They'll get ahead of you, and you end up having to hold.
Coming back.
Holding. Toronto, number 51. Second down and 2.
Okay, so Pumeli, who we just said was hurt.
He was hurt. He stayed in the game. You got to give him credit for that courage. But I tell you, sometimes when you go and hurry up, he's not 100%. What happens? He's got to drag the guy down.
And he's going off the field now. 2nd down. 13 yards to go for the Argos. Last chance drive here with 1:19 to play in the game. Argos with 3 receivers right, 2 left. First stays in the block. Kemp, flush from the pocket. Pursuit now from Mike Campbell. Rolls back. Clock ticking. Goes even deeper. Back to his 40. 35. Cummins in pursuit. Can't get to him. Still has time. Big block. Camp now gets rid of it. It's complete to Burse across the 40 to about the 38. But well short of the first time, and only 57 seconds left as Steinauer makes the tackle.
A lot of clock and a lot of tired. A big old lineman, big D lineman out there. Jeff Cummins just chased. A lot of these guys are going to be about 2 belt sizes smaller after this game.
They needed 13. They got 8. Rapid Cal, 5 yards to go on the 3rd down. And they've got to go for it with 57 seconds left to play. And there's an injured Ticat at the 45.
Well, it's a smart move by staying down. Yeah, it gives Toronto an opportunity to regroup for one play, but it also gives your defense an opportunity to regroup as well. Get some breath, get some water, freshen up, make sure you're on the same page. It's coming down to one play now.
It's Mike Campbell down at the Tiger Cat 45. I think he got cracked back on the play from Steve Salter on the open field hit as he was pursuing Jimmy Kemp.
Well, he's going to be happy the fact that he feels 10 years younger now, because that hit probably put 5 years back on him.
Campbell, who didn't play all of last year after he was not invited back to the Ticat camp, was lured back just before the season after injuries to Obi Spanik and Tim Fleischer. Now in this game because of an injury to Mike Philbrick, and now he's out. So the interior of that line will now feature McCready. Handoff, drop! It's loose! Kemp still has it! He's dropped! That's it for the Argos. Joe Higgins, who's had an outstanding afternoon with the tackle.
Well, the turnover has killed them. We talked about 3 turnovers leading to 21 points for Hamilton. The most crucial part of the game, play of the game. Sticks it in the belly of the running back, drops it on the ground. The offensive lineman gets it, says, I'm not going to be able to run for a first down. He tries to pitch it out, goes back to Kemp. They get tackled. Hamilton ball.
Ticat fans drinking in the moment. 35 seconds to go. And the Cats leading by a converted touchdown, 35-28. And turnovers. Again, the killer for the Argos. They're 4th on the day. 3 interceptions and that big fumble by Tony Burse. McManus has gotten his instructions to take a knee and run out the clock. Nothing fancy. Wiltshire comes in. Clock stops at 32 seconds. Higgins with a touchdown and some big plays on defense.
Well, they've all came to play. I mean, Hamilton's offensive line really did a great job of giving Danny time to get unwound. You got to give credit to Toronto. They came and played a great football game. If it wasn't for those big turnovers, we might be at a different score. But that's the nature of this game in the Canadian Football League.
Well, they've played it almost perfectly. No turnovers for the Tiger Cats in this football game, as McManus runs the clock down to 13 seconds. They haven't given up any sacks, and a tremendous stat all year.
Well, you're right. Only 4 sacks all year. That's unheard of. The record is something like 13 for a year. That was in a 16-game schedule. You're talking 4 at the 9-game point. That's unheard of.
Joe Montfort, 2 big sacks today, running his total to 14. Still on pace to break the single-season record of James Quick Parker as McManus takes a knee and runs out the clock. The Labor Day Classic in Hamilton is in the books. Darren Flutie with 2 touchdown receptions, and the Tiger Cats beat their arch rivals from Toronto, the Argonauts, 35-28. Ron Lancaster is 5-4 and alone in second place, 1 game behind Montreal, leading the East. The Cats, hard work, a good work ethic on Labor Day, defense and offense. The Argos providing some spectacular as well, but on this day, Ivor Wynne is owned by the home team. Stay with us. Game 2 of our Labor Day doubleheader is next from McMahon Stadium. The Stampeders and the Eskimos in the Battle of Alberta.